Jay Crawford, Adam the Bull, Garrett Bush, and so many big names, it would take me hours to say all of their names. The ultimate Cleveland sports show. Booyah!
Yep.
Hey!
Jason, what's good, man?
Playoff Tuesday, right?
Playoff
Game
Tuesday.
two. Game two. Cavs Knicks.
Hey, we're gonna be high intensity on this Cavs Knicks, man. I'm gonna tell you what. If there was a thing called a must win,
This is pretty close to it.
this is the closest they're gonna come to it. Welcome on to the Cleveland Sports Show. This is Game 2 preview. Before we get into the Knicks Cavs preview for Game 2, Mikey McNuggets, let's get the Bulls bet.
We got Bulls Bet brought to us by Bet Rivers, and I got a quick story for you guys after. But first, Bull went 2-0 yesterday.
Okay.
He's now 3 games over 500 and 10-5 on baseball bets. The man is hot.
You know
when
what
he's
he's doing
talking
right.
baseball.
You know what he's doing right. He just snuck these 2 bets in there. He trying to make
I
up
tell
for
him every
lost
day,
time.
no 2 bets. And he keeps sending us 2 bets. He's trying to cheat the system.
Cheating the system.
And Anthony, love Anthony, but he's weak. He's soft. He doesn't say no to Bull. He lets Bull bully him and gives him 2 bets every day. Anthony, do you want to chime in real quick? It's a fact. You know
I
it is.
I didn't know Mike had a rule against 2 bets a day. So when Bull asked me when I was producing last week, I said go for it. I don't care.
And now you done set a precedent.
It's an anarchy. Today, though, Bull's going against baseball despite the fact he's been red hot. I'll tell you what the bet is in a sec. But first, as always, it's brought to us by Bet Rivers Sportsbook. Hey, Ohio sports fans, Bet Rivers is the place to be for every single game. Right now is the perfect time to join Bet Rivers Sportsbook. By using deposit code SPORTS, you'll receive a second chance bet up to $500. Get in on all the action with weekly specials on your favorite sports like basketball and hockey to help you win big. Check them out at betrivers.com or download the Bet Rivers app today for the latest lines, odds, and boosts. Bull is taking a basketball bet tonight over 31.5 points for Donovan Mitchell. He had 38 in Game 1. I believe this bet will cash as well.
Yeah.
Pretty good odds there. Almost even odds at minus 122 for over 31.5 points today for Donovan Mitchell. As Brad mics himself up, I got a little embarrassing story to tell you guys.
Okay, let's get to it.
So, just so everyone knows, I will not be here the rest of the week. I'm heading down to Texas to help launch a pilot version of this show in Texas. So Anthony and Earl will be taking over. I'm self-suspending myself for 3 days after yesterday's catastrophe. It has nothing to do with the fact that I was already going to be off in Texas for that. But this morning and the last couple of days, I've been going over phone calls with the people we have coming on the show. And these guys heard one of them this morning. I completely lost my voice on the phone call. I was coughing up a lung. I could barely get a word. I was like, we got to be there at 2 o'clock. We're going to talk about this, that. I've never been more embarrassed. It's a guy, Mac Engel. He's a Rangers writer. He's an MLB beat writer for the Fort Worth Telegram. Not even like I'm starstruck, like talking to Steph Curry on the phone or LeBron or Deshaun Watson or Myles Garrett. Just a normal guy. Completely lost my voice. Couldn't get a single word out. It was the most embarrassing. I'm gonna meet him on Thursday, and he's gonna be like, I don't trust you. Like I've already ruined what I'm doing in Dallas because I couldn't get a word out.
By a Rangers beat writer?
That's what I'm saying. It doesn't happen. I talk for a living, and I could not get a word out. I came back in the office, and they're just laughing at me, as they should have. Like, I deserved it. It was embarrassing as hell.
Like, I mean, has that ever happened to you in front of a girl? Have you ever frozen up like that?
I've been scared to, like, say something, but never, like, I have no voice. I could not physically get a word out. It was embarrassing.
This is tough.
Like, it was terrible.
The low-key subtle part of that is that the show is expanding and going to Texas. That's
like that was
that's the part that you kind of glossed.
Yeah,
over.
we missed over that.
It's a pilot. If it works, next week we'll talk all about what we're doing down there. But Anthony and Earl, you guys are in good hands with Anthony and Earl. Very good hands. They're going to be making sure they navigate you guys through the rest of the week. I have the utmost faith they won't screw everything up. I genuinely trust them. And also, before we talk Cavs, which we will do in 1 sec, I do want to remind everybody that we're doing a Cavs post-game show. Steve, you can take tag board full. I will not be on it tonight, but G, Earl, and Anthony will be holding down the fort tonight and Friday for games 2 and 3. It is the Cavs post-game show. They will launch that stream with about a minute left in the game, and we will go live until we have dissected everything possible. You see the nugget on there. I'll be back for game 4. Games 2 and 3, it's the 3 to my left on that graphic. Anthony, Earl, G. Bush holding down the fort. Appreciate you guys. And with that being said, let's talk about the game. Game 2 tonight, man.
Listen, we was gonna wait for Brad to get here regardless.
Oh, yeah. I'm riding around a Rocket Mortgage Fieldhouse. I'm looking for some Knicks people. That's how I was delayed. I like, let me run by this thing here and see what's going on.
Oh my goodness.
Oh, let's get to it because I was livid the other day. Livid.
He's chomping at the bit. OG, listen. You perfectly foreshadow it. What you say? You said they was gonna thug it up.
They're gonna thug it up.
They're gonna thug it up, and that's exactly what they did. What were your thoughts on, especially from the bigs, and how the mentality of Thibodeau and the Knicks really showed up in Game 1?
Look at my face here. Jason knows the deal. This is not rocket science here, right? We look up. We got 2 thin dudes playing in the front court. So the first thing, and I told you I played for Tib. Minnesota, he was the assistant coach of Minnesota when I was a Timberwolves. I knew what he was going to do. He's going to thug it up, right? So they're going to pound, put a little wood on Jared Allen, put a little wood on Mobley. They was all right, but you got to meet this wood with wood. This is not for the meek and mild manner. This is not for that. This is for understanding the moment. And we were looking like we were figuring out the arithmetic in the math problem. That's what the problem was, right? And it took us too long to figure it out. Cause then I listened because I go to the post-game commentary. I want to hear what people say. Cause I've been here, I've seen it, right? I've been that person. You know, one of the first things that caught me, Jason, was this. They were interviewing Darius after the game. The first thing Darius said was he had deferred too much to Donovan Mitchell. So he understood that. So you can't, because you got to have a 2-pronged attack at least. You'd rather have 3, but if you got 2, you got to have 2. But he said this, and it troubled me. He said, and it wasn't Darius' fault. He didn't understand. He said, and Jason, you can comment to this. He said, well, we got a long series here. You have a long series here. And when you're a young player, I told you this the other day when I was here. You think it says 7-game series. You think you have 7. You don't have 7.
That's not guaranteed.
Bro, you have 4. That's all you have is 4. Right?
Guess what?
Now you down 3.
Tonight you have 1.
Right. It's the 3. It's not a 7. It's a 7 if you force it to a 7. It's 4. It's the first one to 4. They've got 1. So that means they need 3. That means you need to still win 4. Yeah. So the mentality is, to your point, Jason, 48 minutes. Got to get 1.
Yeah.
Stop looking down the road. And then the other thing is, this is to my, you know how much I like JB, like his family, right?
Anytime you sit, and that's a big preface.
You
like
you got to get the wake-up call too here, bro. Ain't no need. Man.
Which one?
No need here. Danny Green going to have to play, right? Because you're going to need some stability here.
You need
They was backing off a Coral like South,
Please.
like
The floor is yours.
I was doing South Carolina in the girls' game. I'm like, dude, we can't. This is not happening on the pro level. It does not.
Hey, Jason, was it a thing with Isaac? Is it a thing? I don't think it's a confidence thing. I think it's just a thing where he just can't. He's not going to be consistent at hitting that. How did they manufacture you? I heard you on the radio. Shooting.
Shooting.
How can JB manufacture that some
They don't
way?
have shooting. That's the problem. They have, outside of Darius and Donovan, who on that roster are you confident can consistently make threes? Karras should be in that guy.
Yeah.
He should be. He was so bad the other night, he has to regain, as far as I'm concerned, he has to regain trust. Karras was the worst player on the floor. He was awful.
He was shell-shocked too.
Oh my God, he was awful.
He
was worse than I thought he was going to be. And Karras is inconsistent to begin with. He could give you 30.
But after the All-Star
he could
break,
go 2 for 12.
After the All-Star break, he looked pretty good.
He did.
After
And
that trade deadline, not the All-Star break.
looked
after the trade
when
deadline.
he was settled and knew he was going to be
great.
here.
So,
But then when they needed him,
I'm gonna use that as an anomaly. The problem here has always been this: the 3 position has always been the problem.
Yes, it has.
So it was a problem in August. It was a problem in October. It was a problem in December. All-Star break. The trade deadline was a problem. So we have settled into what we have now. You cannot be rigid in your thinking here. You know, this is when people get pulled. People who have played the entire season can get pulled now. Because I'm just trying to get out the moment. And if Danny Green can help me get out the moment, then guess what? Danny, you my guy today.
I've been on.
Did you hear me? Today.
I'm
not tomorrow. Today.
Hey, I wrote after the game they should start him, and I know that sounds ridiculous.
No, that's
Jason,
exactly what
No,
you
but
do.
to the casual fan, that sounds
Jason,
ridiculous.
I've been in this game a long time. You know I have. I was sitting on my couch thinking the same thing. You start Danny Green the next day.
We've all been yelling that. I have to cut off my hair if he.
Let me tell you.
I got to cut off my hair if he don't play tonight.
Let me tell you why you have to do it, right? And I know Jay.
Because there's a lot of downside to playing him.
Well,
But go
there's
ahead.
but here, the reason why you do it is you have to throw them a wrinkle now that they're not expecting. The other thing is you are concerned about Danny. Danny Green can get go. He showed you in the last 2 games he might get going. So guess what? I have to pay him attention. What I saw on Saturday was this: they didn't give a darn about Okoro at all.
No.
That is now I'm playing 4-on-5. It's a problem.
We've said that all season long. I've said it since they got Danny.
It's
Danny
a
can
problem.
help them in the playoffs because in the postseason, when it becomes a half-court game, you can't play 4-on-5. And the Knicks were putting an extra guy in the paint.
Yes!
Like, it wasn't even like playing off of Isaac. They had him in the paint.
Caitlin Clark or Raven Johnson.
Yeah,
in
it
South
was everything
Carolina.
but the
That's
wave.
exactly what it was.
It was everything but the wave.
If you JB, what I used to like about Ty Lue is that he was a guy that would switch. He would say, Kevin, you might not be in the lineup. He'd go small. He messed around. I remember him going into a series. Myles Garrett was playing, but then he wasn't playing no more. Like, if you JB, do you come out and say, okay, I used to get Kevin Love involved with the basketball, first shot of every game with Kyrie and LeBron. Yeah. Do you come out and say, okay, I want to establish something? Do you want to get, hey, Darius, I want you to be aggressive from get-go. The ball going to be in your hand a lot because I need you to be aggressive throughout this game because I don't think it was aggressive enough.
No, he pretty much admitted that after the game. He took a second backseat to Donovan Mitchell. That is fine that Donovan Mitchell is your closer, but there's Garland. You're right here with him. You have to come with him, right?
Yeah.
You two have to set the tone here. The other thing, I just tell you this, right? To Jason, you cannot play 4-on-5 out here, and I don't care how much I like him, how much he give me this presence defense. I cannot play 4-on-5 and play all basketball here. You will get your butt run out this gym.
Well, guess what?
Today, you got to have this one today. Because if you don't get this one today, it is a freaking problem.
It's over. If you go down 2-0, the best case scenario is you're coming home 3-1.
You go back 1-1, I guarantee you this. You listen to me, Cleveland. The Knicks will turn into the Knicks. It's a guarantee. And if you don't know what I mean, they always self-implode somewhere along the line. But if you get them a 2-0 lead, going back into the Garden, the chance of self-implosion.
Yeah.
McNuggets, what you got?
I just want to add one point to what you guys have mentioned to kind of clarify why 4-on-5 is a way bigger issue for this particular Cavs team than it would be for some other teams who can get away with playing a non-shooter on the wing. You already have Mobley and Allen who don't space the floor. And when you could put a third defender within 6 feet of the rim, it makes it damn near impossible for Donovan Mitchell to get clean looks on his attacks. And as good as he is, he's a freaking savant. He's a wizard at doing it. Relying on him to do that 15, 20 times a game against literally four defenders. His guy, the guy who's guarding Mobley who's sagging off, the guy who's guarding Allen who's always around the rim because Allen doesn't leave, and the guy who's guarding the paint because Okuro's just a ghost on the perimeter. That's a damn near impossible task to ask him to replicate time after time after time.
Well, anytime you're playing 4-on-5 in any NBA game, you're at a disadvantage, right? So you cannot do 4-on-5. The other thing you cannot do is, and I'll go to this, you cannot be playing Rubio in them 6 minutes. They just cannot. There's nothing that nobody can do in 6 minutes.
I don't think he plays again in this series.
So I say if you commit to playing somebody, unless you try to get out a quarter in some foul trouble, don't expect no production from nobody for 5 or 6 minutes.
But you don't need to play Ricky because
I don't care if it's Ricky or whoever. You play somebody 4 or 5 minutes, you get nothing. Well, basically most times.
What I wrote for today in The Athletic was, to me, one of the most important stretches is the end of the first quarter and the first 4 minutes of the second quarter when you have to have multiple subs on the floor. You can't play, there's parts in the game where you're going to have multiple bench guys in the game. It's just
It is.
Yeah, unless you're not starting one of your key guys or pulling them 2 minutes into the game, you have to rely on somebody. I think Dean gets another chance, Dean Wade, because they have no other playable bigs. Lamar Stevens, again, can't shoot. He's not a consistent three-point shooter. He plays bigger than what he is, but he's not a shooter. So I think you have to give Dean another look. Karras obviously is going to get another look. I don't think Ricky plays. You don't need him to. You have two ball handlers on the floor, and Darius and Donovan. One of them is going to be on the floor the entire game. So you don't need to play Ricky necessarily. So I think he comes out. But we also have to address, there's risk in playing Danny. It's not, if it was such a slam dunk, it would have happened already.
It's risk.
There is high risk in playing him. I mean, first of all, he's got to make shots to stay on the floor. If he goes, and I've been his biggest proponent of anyone, if he goes 0 for 6, he's not helping you because he's going to get cooked on the defensive end. They're going to hunt him in pick and rolls. Whoever he's guarding, they're going to try and get him on the move. He can't move as well as he did 4 and 5 years ago. He's a liability defensively. But if he's making shots and you're trading 3 for 2, I'll take that trade.
They're going to hunt him with who?
Whoever's guarding him.
Oh, man, come on.
Whoever he's guarding.
Josh Hart is not here today.
Wait a minute. You don't think they're going to put Danny in pick and rolls?
They're not hunting Danny Green.
You don't think they're going to put him in?
That is not the issue. The issue is you are playing 4 against 5. Because you have enough.
Totally agree.
You have enough here. What I cannot do is play a person. And you guys talk about shoot. It's not shooting. You have to be a threat to score.
So,
I don't need. If you can bang some threes, it'd be great. But you have to at least be a threat to score, right? And if I don't have a threat to score, I'm not going into Mobley. I'm doubling down on him. He not. And then I tell you what they were doing. They were playing straight wood on you, right?
Yeah.
They'll bang him around.
Yeah.
So and then the other. Let me just get this last point off. I told you they were going to thug this up, right? So when Julius Randle starts thugging against Jared Allen don't defend himself. Donovan Mitchell comes in to defend this, right?
Yeah.
Now, you saw last night, Draymond Green said, what? You grab me, you get this foot in your chest. And afterwards, the bonus said, it's okay. It's just we're just playing a basketball play. Yeah, because you have to defend yourself.
I thought, I don't want to get off on a tangent. I didn't like that call. I didn't think Draymond deserved a flagrant.
No, neither did I. But
what's he supposed to do?
If he grab your foot, this is what playoff basketball is. You have to meet force with force.
Yeah.
You do this, I'm doing this.
And that's what's so.
I bet you the next time Sabonis don't grab no leg.
He'll think about it.
But I get you. If I get up in your ribs one time and you don't respond, you think that's not coming tonight.
Right. And that's what's fascinating because if you look at the talent of the player, I'll take Evan Mobley and Jared Allen over Mitchell Robinson and Julius Randle every day of the week. Mm-hmm. The Cavs have the better basketball players. But when it comes to size and strength, I mean, it doesn't help you now. Evan's got to get bigger. He's got to get bigger and stronger, but that's not going to happen before game 2. No. but I mean, there were moments where Julius treated him like a toddler, just threw him out of the way. And that's why I said before the series started, I didn't like this matchup. I really don't like this matchup.
He has to, when I look at it like this, I really think that JB and his staff should have really thought about, okay, well, let's be conscious of this.
What?
We got to be very, very pinpoint on how many guys we're going to play, right? Because here's sometimes when you throw a bunch of people in and you just kind of see a little bit, to your point, you might not get that sample size enough to say, I don't know who's really playing. Because I didn't get anything from Rubio. I didn't really get much I didn't see Stevens in a lot of these guys. I thought at least Jetty hit 2 threes. He did hit a couple threes. So now I'm looking at it like this. What's the advantage I can have if I do start a Danny Green? If you can get off to a quick start and you start hitting some of those shots, now I got a buffer. The Cavs fought back all game. They were down 10, 12 points. They kept fighting back.
You know why they were down? That stretch into the first quarter into the second.
Yep.
The game completely flipped, and they were chasing them the rest of the night when the bench was on the floor.
And chasing. Let's ask this question. Okay. When we're looking at it from a point of, yes, they played bad. They didn't shoot the ball. The bench got nothing. The bigs got bullied. With all that being said, they was up a point with 2 minutes left in the game. Mm-hmm. when you come back in here as a silver lining, what is one thing that they can do? And we'll start with you, Jason. One thing that they can do that flips the game a little bit and says, okay, guys, we do this, we win the game.
Evan went 3 of 11 on paint shots in the paint. If he goes 6 of 11, which is not a big ask, they win the game. So if he, and I think he will. I think if he finishes around the basket better, more demonstrative, more physical around the basket, that's a plus. One thing I'll note, we know this is a top-heavy roster. We know the top 4 are going to carry this team. The Cavs' top 4 played more minutes than any foursome in the first round or in the first opening games of any series by a wide margin. They were on the floor together for like 32 minutes. Next closest was like 28 minutes. And that 4 obviously play really well together. And if you look at their 4-man lineup versus all the other best 4-man lineups, they're right there with teams that won their opening games by double figures. So the 4 isn't the problem. It's finding just 2 or 3 guys. And you don't need them to win you the game. You just need them to not lose you the game. And if they can just find 2 or 3 guys, if Jetty can repeat his performance, which is not a given, but if he can repeat his performance, if you can get something out of Danny or Dean or someone else, you just need someone to just hold the rope for 3 or 4 minutes. That's really all that you're asking for here. But there's one more thing I'll say. If I'm the Knicks, Julius Randle first came back from an ankle. Brunson was in foul trouble. Quigley played like crap. RJ Barrett played like crap. That was not their best game by a long shot, and they still won. So we can sit here and say, Cavs did this, and they lost, and if they clean that up, they'll be fine. Okay, fair, but the Knicks have a lot of things as well that they didn't play to their standard, and they still won game 1 on the road. So
your thoughts, Brad? What's something they could do to say, we do this, we back in the series?
You got to be strategic and smart here, right? So first of all, the Knicks are the Knicks, right? They're not more than they are. This is just the Knicks, right? Right. And at some point they're gonna be who they are. This is who they are. I don't care how many times they bring Spike to the thing, right?
Yeah,
this gonna be what it is, right? The thing is, you have to meet head on. First of all, it is about playing winning basketball. I looked at Sacramento last night. Mike Brown threw in a bunch of people last night. The only requirement that if you play was that you got to give me something, right? Yeah. You cannot come off this sideline and give me nothing, right? And that's what we got on Saturday. A bunch of people came off the game on Saturday and gave you nothing, right? So that puts extra load on your guys up front. Now, if they're struggling, it makes it a struggle. So we have to counteract that. The other thing is, if you don't think that the Knicks are going to come out here and sample size to thug it up again and game again.
Oh, that's coming.
That's coming, right? So I'm confident that we'll be prepared this time to expect that to come our way. The thing I can do is I'm not starting Danny Green, right? Because if I start Danny Green, Okoro might go in the tank on me, right? That's how shaky it looks, right? So now you got to be cognizant of, because you're going to need him along the way. So you can't just
get up out of here. First round.
You just can't knife him up, right?
Right.
So, but Danny Green is waiting quickly in the wings.
Is he your first guy?
Oh, he's one of my first people coming in.
First guy?
Because I tell you what, when he steps on the floor, you at least have to respect this.
You have to know where he is on the
floor. You have to respect that he's been in the championship series. He knows what to do. This dude might drill one on me, so I can't shade in here. I got to pay attention here because he might get going here. Because they see the last 2 films.
How did you guys feel about, it's kind of, I don't know how I feel about the defense. How did you feel about the Cavs were the #1 defense coming into it? Did you think they met them with more force? Because I was expecting them to ratchet it up a little bit. How did you think they did on the defensive side of the
They were playing like it was the 82-game season. And that's until you've been are in the playoffs, it is an entirely different beast. You have to amp it up. And it's a different amp up because it's a methodical amp up. It is a mano a mano. You're not going to beat me down here today, right? If you watch all these games in the NBA playoffs, that's how it's been, right? The referees have let people play. They've given you some leeway here.
And
right?
I'll give you this.
Goes that way.
Guys who we traditionally that guy don't know what he's doing. I watched Russell Westbrook.
Kept coming.
I was impressed with his just tenacity, the small stuff, didn't give an inch. He was not scared to shoot.
3 for 19, but the reference game was flawless.
It was just, and even guys, and I was even thinking about this. I watched Kawhi Leonard, and Kawhi Leonard had to remind me, hold on, I'm still, the way he was just like, no, I'm going to get to my spot. I'm going to still do this. Zubac, he
Played hard.
Played hard.
Did the dirty work.
And then I was watching this, Jason, I just watched Eric Gordon just be ready to shoot. I was just like, man, what would we begin for somebody like that?
Man off the bench. I mean, people who come in off the side got to give you something. Now, I'll give Jetty some credit. Jetty came in the second half, and he played, right? Because I tell you what, you cannot let Brunson get out there and get going. You have to go at him. So Darius Garland, you're going to have to go at him, right? You're going to have to get him busy, right? You got to keep him occupied because he was coming down. He was just having his way. He was like, I'm just going to cross you over, and I'm coming back to the left. You know I'm coming back to the left.
He reminds me of, like, you know how tough and gritty Delonte West used to be with that little left hand? And it would be like he would have the nerve to go down in the post and give you business. You're like, how is you spotting up? Is they really just spotting up Brunson on the post and he ain't looking that big? Yes.
But you got to move him out of there. That's why I said it is a different mentality. Somebody here has to absorb. Now, I tell you who I wouldn't mind putting on Brunson. Stevens. I wouldn't mind putting Stevens on Brunson.
I wouldn't mind it either.
I wouldn't mind it.
Can you play 3 non-shooters, though?
No.
Listen.
Somebody's minutes got to go.
I've got to negate some of this stuff here. Because some of this stuff, Mikey, will send you home. It will send you home. Right?
I get you. I just think it's
Brunson's a
one
problem
without fixing another.
Here. The one problem is Brunson's a problem, right?
Yes.
And you didn't do anything to stop it all night. It just kept coming at you, right? And the more it got going, the more comfortable he felt about giving it to you, right? So that's got to be cut off today. 27 points he gave you.
Hey, Brad, I got a question for you.
Yeah.
And you know this better than anyone else can answer. There are certain guys throughout the history of basketball where it doesn't matter how good defense you play, they're still going to score.
Yeah.
Like Kevin Durant, you could be in his face, hand up, perfect contest. He's going to make his shot.
True.
The way Brunson plays, I know he's only 6'1", 6'2", but the way he fades away, the way he uses his body, especially when he backs down in the post, he cooked Osman, he cooked Okoro, he cooked anyone they put on him in game 1. Does it really matter who the Cavs have on him, or is he the kind of player who is impervious to defense just because the way he gets his buckets?
Okay, so let's stop now because Brunson.
Thank you.
Thank you.
What I think you're
He's not like
Brunson
that.
is not Durant. Let's stop, right?
Well, no, I get it, but he takes shots
what you
where
have
his
to
defense is
do,
less.
what you have to do, Mikey, is you have to hit him with some size and strength. You have to send the message from the beginning. It's not going down like that today.
JC,
it's not going down like that. And sometimes it's as simple as that. Sometimes we can overthink it, talk about the matchups, this and that. So you're not getting your money off today.
He is not him.
The way people have been talking about Jalen Brunson around here for the last week.
Crazy.
I said that with Ken. I'm like, guys, it's Jalen Brunson. This isn't Kobe. Listen, Jalen Brunson's a good player.
Nice guy.
He's a great scorer in a league built for scoring. But he ain't making any All-NBA teams. He's not catching any MVP votes.
So how about
and this idea that Okoro is the only guy who can slow him down.
Get out of
then
here.
where the hell was Okoro in the fourth quarter? They didn't even play him. They didn't even play him.
Let me ask you this, you basketball savants out here. What hand is Jalen Brunson?
Left.
Where was he finishing at?
Left.
Going left. Coming right and coming back left, right?
He always goes left.
What if I sit on that left hand and send you the other way?
JB mentioned that. Didn't mention him by name.
He did say that in the post game.
But said after the game that they were letting guys get to their strong hand.
And that's
what he was
let
referring
me send
to.
you the other. Now this is where this shrewdness comes in at, right? That's why I put a bigger guy on it. I'm sending you to the right. I'm going to sit on this left hand. You're going to go right, but the one thing when you go right, guess what you're going to be worried about? Me and my length coming behind you, right? This other thing, he got this little tricky thing that he gets his little left hand off on you. And then the other thing he does too, he bullies you down there. He gets you down and get your little body, and he gets no, we didn't have none of that.
You know what I loved watching McNuggets, to your point? I watched the first half of the Brooklyn Sixers game, right? And I was impressed the way Brooklyn was like, you know what, Joel Embiid? We're not going to let you do that.
We're doubling down.
We're going to double you every time. We're going to come from different places, behind you, from beside, and we're going to, now look, to their credit, I'll shake his hand. Maxey beat him. Maxey was Harden hit a couple shots.
But
Tobias Harris.
They stopped doubling though.
But they stopped doubling him in the second half. And if I'm looking at Jalen Brunson and I'm looking at you, that's the thing with small guards. If you notice what Tibbs did, when Darius Garland get the ball, they like double him right off.
Yeah, I'm glad you said that because the other thing you
Double
can
him
do,
off that.
the other thing, it's about making small time game adjustments, things that they're not going to expect. So what if I flood him a couple times and start taking the ball out of his hand?
Yeah.
The one thing you're not going to get today is 27. That's not happening today.
RJ Barrett
Ain't happening today.
RJ Barrett will have to see. I feel like Mobley. I feel he's further along enough where I could single him, like, right? If you let Julius Randle shoot jumpers, I'll take it.
Yeah,
Like, he might hit a couple of them.
take my money on.
But I don't want him in the paint. But my thing is, I blitz Brunson, and I would tell, hey, look, if old boy what's his name?
Barrett.
Zion's boy. If
RJ Barrett.
RJ Barrett, if he want to get 25 with his left-hand shot, go ahead.
He looked lost too.
He was awful. He was terrible.
He looked lost too.
So let him shoot.
I would say this though. It is about doing whatever. Here's the one thing I noticed: the Knicks are a young fledgling team too. They're trying to make it too. They're trying to figure their way out.
Yep.
The Knicks will be satisfied with leaving Cleveland 1-1. Yes, they will.
Yeah, they won.
Yeah.
Like
That's what they
have
should.
it accomplished.
They'll be satisfied 1-1. So you have a tactical edge going into the game because they're not hungry enough to go for two.
So-
See, because the cruise I was on, we hungry enough to come for two. We're trying to get two.
The
right?
teams LeBron would get people because they wanted to rest. They wanted to go
We'll get the two. We'll get the two.
They want to get
the
two.
The Knicks going to allow you a chance to now, whether we take it or not is a different thing, but the Knicks are going to allow you a chance to get this game tonight. Right? The only sole thing is don't even look down the road. You got to leave Cleveland tonight 1-1.
Yeah.
That's it.
Do you believe there's another? Because we've seen it with LeBron. We've actually seen it with Kyrie a little bit too. Do you believe there's another level that Donovan Mitchell could play? Or do you think what he gave you there at 38, 40, he's tapped out, and that's the best he's going to give you?
Donovan is not LeBron. Like, let's be clear.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, Earl. Donovan is not LeBron. But he can be the Kyrie. You know, he is that level. He's probably better.
Is he
But,
hot?
and we saw it. You know, we saw Donovan the last 2.5 minutes of the game basically say, get the hell out of the way. Give me the ball and move and let me do this. And he is capable of doing that. He almost dragged them to a win. So he can control the game. I mean, I've seen LeBron controlled a 48-minute game, played all 48 minutes, and controlled every moment of the game.
What you say?
No, I'm no disrespect.
It
But
sound-
that
it
20,
sound disrespectful.
Listen, that 2018 with Jordan
that
Clarkson, Rodney Hood,
that game seven at Boston was stuff I've never seen
ever.
Yeah. That's
And
true.
he slow walked in.
And that's why. And I don't want to keep going back to that
Zero
era,
bums.
but when you did have LeBron going down 1-0 in a series, okay, it's not ideal, but it's, you know, whatever. It's not that big of a deal. It feels different with the young team that hasn't ever been there. When you drop the first game at home, it's just different. And that's why, to your point, I think the sense of urgency goes up a little bit.
Well,
had they won that game, had they figured out a way to win that game, then then you have a little bit more time to figure things out. You don't have that much time.
Let
now.
me tell you the one thing that you guys are. I know you understand it, but I don't think you're giving it the credence that it's due. You have to have people on the floor that understand the moment. That's why you play a guy like Danny Green, because he understands the moment. You follow me? You sit here, and my point of saying that it's not a 7-game series. You're in a 1-game series. That's today, right? A person who's been in the fray before will know that. You won't have to tell them that. It's all the marbles today, right? Now, a young person who's never been there, because you have to think for Garland, Mobley, Jared Allen to a degree, this is all in theory. It's a theoretical series for them.
How you feel about Kevin Love now?
Well, here, Kevin Love, you know, I've been listening to this thing for the last couple of days. Kevin Love could have done, let me say, before the game the other night, Kevin Love had done nothing down in Miami.
He hadn't.
He had done nothing in Miami.
But you know, they're 18.
Well, they're 18 for a
it
day.
resonates with your heart.
It's really bad timing for the Cavs. They need rebounding and 3-point shooting.
Look,
I'm a man.
The 18 for the day.
I was hurt.
Here,
And they beat
so
the Bucks.
I would check Kevin's stats down in Miami. There was nothing. Now, it showed up the other day, but for the season, it was nothing. So if you tell me Kevin Love strings 4 or 5 games together like that, then there's a difference. But if he reverts to what I saw in Miami the last month and a half,
yes.
Okay.
I wholeheartedly
Okay.
can't kill the Cavs.
But it did make you say,
damn. It did make you say, boy, those are bad options. That's really bad timing.
If we're gonna do this, right? You guys know I've been a proponent on this thing. What you had to resolve your 3-man. Who did I say bring in here?
Carmelo?
I said that, right?
Yeah.
They don't slots off Carmelo in that Knicks game, right? They don't. That gives Mobley room to work down there. But if they're gonna play on court, you think what they gonna do today? Like, give them to Caitlin Clark. Give them to Caitlin Clark.
Come on.
Come on.
That's the self-check.
No, it's more like
Out of here.
So let's
I was like, I don't think I've ever seen that in the NBA game.
So-
have you ever seen that? I don't think
Yeah,
I've ever.
Tony
I-
Allen.
I don't
They
think I've
stayed
ever
on
seen
Tony
it
Allen.
in an NBA playoff game.
They,
Have you?
They used to sag off Rondo.
No.
Like that.
Allen.
Yeah, maybe.
Tony Allen.
Bro, they used to give Rondo that.
Maybe Rondo, right?
Rondo, right?
Westbrook.
But it was a little concerning to me that the Cavs' first trip down the floor, that was their first look. We want to get Isaac Okoro involved.
No.
We want Isaac Okoro to take our first shot.
Boy.
And he missed it, and I thought, oh, Lord, that's not a good sign.
Let's get y'all on the record. Score tonight, and do the Cavs win? What we got? OG?
I don't give the score, but I'll tell you what. I got the Cavs winning because I think that they understand the moment, right? And I'm gonna be severely disappointed if I don't got a body politic response today, right? I'm gonna be severely disappointed.
Jason?
I really thought they would lose game 1, and I think they absolutely win game 2. I think it's 1-1 going back to the Garden.
I'll say I will be severely disappointed. I will say that I overestimated not just the skill, but just the understanding the sense of urgency that they got to get to. I think they win this game. To be truthful, I think they win it 5, 6, 7 points. But they better win it.
G, I told you guys this from the beginning. A 4-5 matchup is always the best matchup. It's always the one that always seems to go the hardest and longest. You get some surprises there, but that 4-5 matchup is pretty tough.
We got a pretty good 3-6 win going on in the West right now.
Well, yeah.
That's a fun series.
Listen, I will say this about NBA playoff basketball. It's been outstanding.
It's outstanding.
It has been freaking outstanding.
Hey, McNuggets, speaking of outstanding, they did give out the Defensive Player of the Year, the most outstanding defender in the league. And, we just named a couple guys. Who came away with that?
Yeah, it was not Evan Mobley. We got DJ Steph Floss in the building. We're going to set him up. So for the next 5-6 minutes, let's break down the Defensive Player of the Year voting. Not only did Jaren Jackson win, but him and Brook Lopez at 1 and 2 came in a landslide ahead of Evan Mobley. Now, we had this discussion last week. Did we think Evan Mobley was Defensive Player of the Year? Jason, I believe you were on the panel that day.
I said I would have voted for him.
And you said you would have voted for him.
Yeah.
Are you surprised, maybe not that they didn't win, but at how lopsided the voting turned out to be?
A little bit. I thought it would be a little bit closer among the three of them. I wouldn't have voted for Jaren just because he didn't play enough.
He played enough games.
Concerned. Yeah, he didn't play enough.
But he's an all-star.
And Brook had a great year. All credit to him for what he's doing. And it might turn – I mean, the way Evan got thrown around the other night.
A little bit. I mean, that didn't help. The awards and the regular season awards given out in the postseason be kind of crazy looking. But I think Evan Mobley, man – this is what I really want.
And, G, before you go, just so I could read these numbers, I know it's small. Jackson got 391 points. Brook Lopez got 309. Evan Mobley only got 101. Jackson got 56 first-place votes. Lopez got 31. Mobley, 8.
So I look at it like this. Sometimes you got to use certain things as motivation. This is his second year. It's great.
Not bad.
Not bad for where he is. There's a couple of things that is very evident. I think Mobley could be a much better rebounder. With his athleticism, he has long arms. I think he should be around 12, 13 rebounds. Now, granted, Jared Allen is down there as well. Jared Allen's down there. I need 12 or 13. You know my stats be high.
Woo.
I got Deshaun Watson for 4,000.
This ain't AAU, but keep going.
I need 12, 13.
You said 12, 13 like it was like.
I need 13. You need 12. But you give me 10 now. But here, all jokes aside, I just think he could be more physical. And I think if he puts on weight, as he continues to touch these weights, I think he'll be more physical. He'll be able to keep guys off the offensive glass. But I'll say this. He got to start using this as motivation. I did this as a short. Yeah. They played you, bro. They got Scotty Barnes as Rookie of the Year. They got your boy. Who is your boy? Jaren Jackson.
Oh.
Listen, that's a nondescript name. They got him playing.
He's a role.
Like I don't even know what he does really. And he's in Memphis, and they gave him your award. At the end of the day, Mobley, you got to come back. I want you to come back ready to go, bro. I need you to come back in full unicorn status, smacking people, gun butting them. I need all that, bro.
Let me say this. Evan Mobley, to finish third in the defensive player rankings has been great. I mean, for your second year, it's been great. I will tell you this, though. So he's learning. You're learning this. You have to command. If you're going to play inside that paint, this time of year, you got to command that area. It has to be, that's blocking shots. You don't have to be Hercules in here.
Herculoid, I like that.
Right?
Yeah, right.
I like clear it out. I like, here it is. You're not bringing nothing weak up in here. I'm cleaning it out. And the other thing, I got to snatch all this glass up in here, right? And the other thing, you cannot be seen as that you're getting shoved around down there, right? That negates your defensive player of the year status, right? They don't be moving Draymond Green.
Right. Hey, listen, he got to start actually, like sometimes, like all that stuff, like when Mobley or when Julius Randle hit him in his back when he was up underneath the basket when he's trying to cut the last play of series. Well, all you got to do is raise your arm up just about 3 degrees, and when he come up in there, you give him that forearm shiver right there, right all up underneath the clavicle, right here, up underneath the chin. I bet you stop running in there like that.
You talk about violence.
Yeah, listen, I advocated. Listen, Bounty Gate. Come on now.
The one thing that you can play tough down here in this league here because they not gonna go to no fighting, right?
No.
Because now my day. You square up on somebody, you might get slugged up here, right?
That Rudy Tom Donovan.
They get 2 pieces of the biscuit without the hot sauce.
And then they let them come back and play.
Right. He'll be back.
He'll be back. At what? Today? Yeah, he's just right back in. I don't know what the heck y'all was doing. Y'all on some other type stuff. Y'all was some trash, bro. This is gonna be about who wants to smoke tonight. That's what this is. You're going to clearly see who wants to smoke tonight. Doesn't Donovan, so you've seen this, right? It's hard sometimes having, your guard be the bully, right? Like, so if you Donovan Mitchell, don't you get these dudes together like, hey, let me talk to you something real quick. I know that was game 1. I understand we was filling it out, but guys, we got to come out with this intensity. Like, we got to show him something.
And he might be saying that.
And plus, too, for me, and we've been leaving him out a little bit, but you got Darius Garland is an all-star. Darius Garland not only didn't have 20 points, he had 17 points, but at the end of the day, he only had 1 assist. What happened to the probing in the paint with the high handoff? We saw no lobs. I know Darius Garland is ready to go when he throw Jared Allen a lob. If he get 2 lobs, I know they ready to play.
You got to turn up here. This is a turn up. This is here. This is the McDonald's All-Star Game. This is the AAU Championship. This is the Nike Tournament of Champions. This is where we are now. And the good thing about it is here, it's not overly complicated.
No.
It don't take a whole bunch of strategy here. It's who wants it more.
And you're
going to clearly see it tonight. And then I'll tell you, I'll go back to Donovan Mitchell here. He got some weight on his shoulders, too. They brought you in here to close this out here. They gave a bunch of pieces up for you, right?
Yeah.
So your 38 was great. It didn't get us over the hump. So whatever it take, everybody got some whatever it take tonight, right?
Yeah.
McNuggets, what we got?
Listen, we got a VIP guest in the house. We're going to bring him out in a sec. But we're going to do 2 things first. First, if you are not a member of the Ultimate Cleveland Sports Show already, the question is, what the hell are you waiting for, man? For $1.99 a month, you get all the loyalty badges, custom emojis, members-only community posts. If you want to be a big baller for $4.99 a month, that is less than $60 for the year. You get all those same starter tier perks, overtime videos, membership shoutouts, discount codes, and merch, and more. Today, we're drawing logos for the Browns for overtime. I promise you my design is going to win. And we're going to bring DJ Steph Floss out here in 1 sec, but we promised it yesterday. I talked to my college coach. We broke down some of the Cavs' rebounding issues, especially late in the game. When you slow it down, it's even more disgusting when you watch it in person. We're going to play the package. We're going to bring DJ Steph Floss in, the Cavs' in-house DJ, the man, the myth, the legend himself. Steve, you can play the package. Anthony, get Steph ready. This is essentially the play that won the Knicks the game here. It's 99-97. Jalen Brunson has the ball. 6 seconds left on the shot clock. 14 seconds left in the game. He's being guarded by Cedi Osman on the left wing, but I want you to look at Randle right here. There's 6 seconds on the shot clock. Randle's a step behind the three-point arc on the opposite side of the court. Now, this is pretty good defense from the Cavs. Osman does a good job contesting the shot. 3 Cavs in help position. When the shot goes up, we're going to rewind this real quick. When the shot goes up, there are 3 Cavs with a foot in the paint. There is zero excuse for them not to get this rebound. Here's Julius Randle. He's going to come in and split Garland and Mobley like an open gate. 2 Cavs players, we're going to slow this down in a sec to show you again. 2 Cavs players, not a single one gets a body on Randle, and he comes unimpeded in for the offensive rebound, which, like I said earlier, essentially seals the win here for the Knicks. He kicks it out to Quentin Grimes, who knocks down 2 free throws. So we're going to slow this down again for you and show you in slow motion. Watch Randle from right here come unimpeded, take 6 steps, never knocked off his path from beyond the three-point arc to the paint. I have no clue what Darius Garland's doing. Is he trying to take a charge here? DJ, what is it? He puts his hands down like he's taking a charge on a guy crashing the offensive glass, and Mobley takes 1 false step middle. It's like a center fielder. Not necessarily mistracking the ball, but you take 1 step, it's tough to recover. As soon as the shot goes up, he comes in. His head comes to the middle of the court instead of finding a man to box out. And when he does find Randle, it's just too soft. You got to hip check him at that point. You got to put your body on a body to get him off his path, because where this rebound comes, where this ball hits the rim and comes, it's in between 3 Cavs. You have a 6'9" Randle out-rebounding 2 7-footers in the paint and Darius Garland. Now, Jared Allen on the weak side here did an awesome job getting Hartenstein out of rebounding position. Watch Allen. Hartenstein takes a bad angle. He is under the rim. He is completely out of the play. No chance for a rebound. But Mobley and Garland, 2 Cavs, get a body on Randle, make him go around you, make him fight through you, make him foul you to get there. Instead, unimpeded to the cup, game-winning rebound, and essentially that's the story of the game. That's how the Knicks ended up stealing game 1 at home versus the Cavs. Rebounding is all about effort. All about effort, discipline, and knowing where to be when the shot goes up. My coach told me, hey, Luke, this looks like watching you back in practice every day. It's unacceptable, and that's why you didn't play nearly as much as you thought you should have. And he's probably got a point, but got to put a body on Randle. There's no way in hell he should run unimpeded through 2 defenders to the basket for an open rebound, especially when the rest of the defensive possession was pretty good all around from the Cavs. Got to do better in Game 2 if they're going to come back and tie the series at 1 game apiece as they head to the Garden for Game 3.
And that's to my man, Le Capitan of the illustrator. The czar of the illustrator.
We got to come up with
now,
a
that was great. And let me just say this, Mike, and I was telling Jason the Floss as we listened to this thing, right? This is about mano y mano. You got Julius Randle in here, right? And sometimes my job is to make sure that Julius Randle don't get to the glass. And sometimes I might not get the rebound. And I don't have to box you out normally. Sometimes I'm just going to go face guard you and make sure I hold you up out here, and somebody else got to get the rebound. I'm not going to get it, but he's not going to get it. So one of you others stand out here, because they try to play technical basketball here. Garland on a little bump, Evelyn on a box out. Everybody got to run up under the goal, right? Jared standing out of bounds. I like this. You got to own this real estate down here. These is New York boys. They coming down Broadway, 7th Avenue, right? We gonna put you out here in the Bronx. You not coming down here to get this real estate.
Speaking of, Somebody told me you got an all New York Knicks ready to go for the game.
No.
Can we give this man a proper introduction?
Bring in my man
Hey,
Floss.
DJ Steph Floss, he runs all of the music down at it's the Rock and Morgan Fields out. It ain't TQ no more.
Rock and Morgan
I sat next to this man. I can't
that
hear
was
out of my
crazy.
left ear
Those are some great times.
because I sat next to this man for
This
4
close.
years, and he just blew my ear out for 4 years.
It was like during the renovations.
Super Floss.
It was like during the renovations of the stadium. So I had to change my booth to be right where the media and the press were. We became really good friends.
Floss, how long you been doing that for the Cavs now?
Like, this is going to sound crazy right now. I was thinking about this the other day. So I did two. I did 2 with Bron. So that means 2008 to 2010. So 2008 to now, this is my 15th season.
Wow.
Jeez.
Now I came up on him.
Gee.
Now this is that I came up on him when he was on 107.9.
I'm still there.
Doing
I'm
the
still there.
mixes, doing the mixes. So
Yes, sir.
like that's all. I'm from Canton, so we ain't have we like we got 88.1. That's college, it's accurate. But
Shout out
on
to Akron.
107.9 we do listen. He was mixing and doing his thing. So that's definitely where I know him from. Like when you in there, like I don't think people be understanding. Like when you like in basketball games, I had to be about maybe 15, 16 when I started knowing this, and they was playing music
Yeah.
the whole game.
Yeah.
Like, how did that movement start from just not playing music at timeouts, but how did that come about where is guys going to them like, listen, we need to hear this song when we bringing the ball up? How do you go about choosing that?
Well, to my knowledge, Cleveland had one of the first in-arena DJs. Shout out to my guy Mick Boogie.
Yeah.
I came like
you're
right
right.
after him. Pause. But
Yeah, super pause.
he was very instrumental in getting the in-arena DJs into the just the whole culture of NBA basketball. I think at the time it was maybe him, and there was the Denver Nuggets might have a DJ, but he was nowhere near as good as Mick. So Mick and what's my guy named Big Tigger in DC. So they were like 3 of the first.
Right.
So Mick Boogie was doing that, and then he decided to move to New York. I had been accompanying him to games. I was very familiar with it. I was a pretty good DJ. Had great relationship with the with the team, with the players, with Brian. So it was just an easy transition. So like shout out to Mick Boogie and shout out to the Pioneers, but like they saw something in that arena that needed to be fixed. As opposed to just having
The stock
just
music.
just stock music and things like that.
I tell you that because that's trickled all the way down to college.
Yeah.
My daughter's in Maryland. They got at the Maryland college game.
Yeah.
They've got the DJ set up at the Maryland game.
I mean,
right?
the DJs are
this is
outside of the players.
yeah.
The DJs are the hottest thing in the arena.
Right.
Yeah,
Because the
gonna say that.
music,
no, for real.
the music is critical.
No, it
right?
is.
It is critical because, and I was going to ask you this: do the players give you some say, listen, let me hear?
I am so glad you asked me
Yeah,
this.
I wanna know.
because I've been getting a lot of flack because of the game 1 loss.
Okay.
And people are actually DMing me, messaging me, saying it's my fault that we lost. Not the rebounding that you
Why
guys
is
just
it
showed or
your
anything.
fault?
It's my fault because I played and we played too much New York music. Man, shout out to my musical director as well, Sabo. But like because we played too much music.
What?
And I was gonna address this
let that
on
slide.
the social media, but
That ain't had nothing to do
You
with the
have
music.
the floor.
so this is what it is. Especially during like the pregame, I cater to. So now there's a new thing. I'm on the court very early, like when the guys are out there doing their warm-ups before the bowl opens and when the bowl opens. And our players, our star players especially, they have very specific
They have
requests
requests.
of songs
That's
that they
right.
want to hear.
They gotta have it.
You know what I'm saying? So, one player wants to hear this when they're out there, I cater to them. We have another player who happens to be from New York that loves New York music. So and they're star players, so I play New York music for them. You can figure out who that
Does
is.
it rhyme with Schmonovan?
I mean, they ain't say
Maybe.
that's Bron's man. Like that Jay and Bron is like, you didn't say nothing when he was here. Y'all better stop it. By the way, it's Jay-Z.
Listen,
Come on,
let me-
bro.
let me
New
tell you.
York's the mecca of hip hop. They hate me.
Let me.
They got to find some reason. So I'll take the blame for that. Don't blame my guys on the court for game 1. We got game 2. Game 1 loss is on me because I played too much.
Listen, first of all,
Too much work.
listen here. Here, the cuts are the cuts, right? We just want to make sure you hit the cuts.
Yeah.
I'll be okay, right? That ain't got nothing to do with you.
Yeah.
That had nothing to do with you, Floss. I'll tell you this though. I said, better you come there playing some trash, right? You play some trash, it's gonna be a problem.
Oh, yeah, that's not gonna happen. That's not gonna happen.
So give us a couple examples if you can. Like what players like which music?
Spider, New York, loves Jay-Z. Requests, Jay-Z from time to time, 50 Cent. So if you hear those songs and things like that,
That's covering that.
Jetty, he has a specific song that he really likes. I brought the team out to it. Our fan appreciation game because he was starting, so I wanted to make sure he was happy and comfortable. And what I really like about DG is he loves all kinds of music. Of course he loves Lil Baby, he loves things like that. But there are some female artists that he asks me, he requests me to play, that I play, and he loves it. He goes crazy. Throughout history, a lot of guys have not requested female rappers, for them to come out to and for them to get hyped to. So DG, he has some very specific songs that he really likes. And when I play it, I see a reaction of them. And the fans are able to see the reaction, and it just builds the energy in the arena. So,
man, Glorilla is fire.
Glow, shout out to Lola Brooke.
That Lola Brooke, Lord.
Yeah.
She got a freestyle on Flex that's like she does her thing. She's fire.
Yeah. Shout out to Freaky T. It's a lot of
So
artists.
you're going to be in full effect tonight?
Oh, yeah.
Full effect.
For sure.
Full effect.
All
right?
New York music.
You'll drop a couple Cleveland. you got to drop a couple Cleveland hits on them now.
I got you. I did last game.
Couple Cleveland hits.
It's so crazy. People have selective memory. Like I did last game, but people they hear what they want to hear.
Well, because
convenient amnesia.
Because it's for the players. Be clear. But
I wanted to address that too.
But you also need it for the people in the stands too, because at some points during this time we need the energy from the crowd.
So the music is for the players up until after tip-off solely. I mean, of course we want the crowd to be involved. We do that for you guys. But think about if you're an athlete and you're out. Just think about high school sports. You're out there in the layup line. You want to hear songs that are going to get you amped and ready to play. If I'm playing stuff for you, if I'm playing stuff that you do not like at all, you're going to be like, yo, what's going on? I need to get amped. So I try to cater to the guys all the way, throughout the game, but especially all the way until tip-off.
And then how do you decide after tip-off?
Well, there are specific songs that the players have when they score and things like that.
Yeah.
And our musical director, Sabo, he handles that. So that's really easy. And then it's some of the, you hear when they score the songs that are played, and these are some of their favorite songs. And we did a survey with the players at the beginning of the season and put together it might be on Cavs.com, a list of their songs.
So your musical director does your arrangement?
Yeah.
Seriously?
Well, yeah.
Oh,
so I handle
so
all
it's not
of
you
that.
freestyling
No. That would be incredibly. It's me freestyling.
No, I'm making all the selections.
Shout out to Sabo. I used to work with him at the Fan, man.
That reminds me, my playing days. This is my college playing days.
Did they have music there?
No, but I was playing in my apartment. I just thought I had to, I could not leave the apartment headed to a house to play a game unless Houdini and 5 Minutes of Funk was on.
You see what I'm saying?
If I did not hear that, it wasn't gonna go down that day, right?
See what I'm saying?
Real quick, McNuggets, what we got?
Yeah, real quick. The Lunch Hour of the Ultimate Cleveland Sports Show is sponsored by Colleague Racing, the official NASCAR team of Northeast Ohio. I got a question for DJ Steph here, by the way.
Yes, sir.
Well, first off, my man gets after it in the gym. I see him every day in the gym.
I'm trying to get some abs.
Trying to get some abs
for the summer.
I respect it. But
Get you one if you're there.
I'll get you one. I'll borrow
one up for me.
Steph, my question is, I've been in Cleveland for a year now, and I think the Cavs in-game arena and crowd is as good as any NBA crowd I've seen in all my travels. Now, I know you travel a lot. You were in Toronto last week. You're with the Cavs on the road a ton.
Yeah.
How do you think the Cleveland crowd and the atmosphere of game day environments in Rocket Mortgage compares to some of the other places around the NBA?
And this is not just me saying because I'm the best in-arena DJ in the NBA. I'm not just saying that because I am the best in-arena DJ. I'm not just saying this.
Yeah, you're not
but our game ops, the best I've ever seen in the NBA in any arena. I've traveled to a lot of arenas. Crowd noise may be a little louder in some arenas at certain times, but the in-game experience is nowhere compared to ours, man. Between our hosts, man, big shout out to Ahmad, big shout out to Nicole, big shout out to our new host, big shout out to me, big shout out to Sabo, big shout out to Kosher Cuts. There's no in-game arena experience better than the Cleveland Cavaliers.
Can I
Floss,
just between you and me,
yes.
all right? Don't worry about them.
Okay.
Just between you and me. Do they ever pump in crowd music? Or
No,
crowd noise?
No. We don't do that.
Floss,
We don't do that.
Floss,
Never.
We don't,
Not
never.
during the finals.
Never do that.
Floss.
I'll say this, never. I mean, I don't know. I mean, to my knowledge. Now, we don't need to listen to our crowd.
Allegedly.
It's loud.
I can attest to one of the loudest games, that '89 Cavs game in the Cleveland crowd.
Yeah, I wasn't there.
Is known to be loud. You wasn't there. This on a classic tape, bro. But let me say this. This is, this is not the day. You don't have two 1200s up on the thing, right?
Yeah.
So what are you spinning?
Oh, no, I have 1200s.
You still-
So at the end, I'm running the only DJs in the NBA because I started off with crates.
Right.
So and then it switched to Seratos. So both of my setups on the court and
1200s?
Yeah, and up in
Technique 1200s for people
up in
who
the
don't
field
know.
house. Yeah.
Right.
I use Technique 1200s. I got 2 Technique 1200s. I still use vinyl, and I use the S9. Now, nightclubs, I typically do like CDJs and stuff like that.
Right.
But like at the game, I have needles. I got needles.
So for
Everything.
the lay folks out there, the 1200s are turntables. He has
Yeah.
2 turntables that he's bringing the mix on.
And a microphone.
Right.
Yeah, and a mic.
Right.
I let mine handle the mic.
Which is the traditional setup. But you will go to some places and they have, what's the little machine called where they just are using the
Oh, they're using like a tracker or I just asked somebody, a controller.
right.
A
But the
controller.
skill set is on the 12s.
Yeah, yeah.
If you got the 12s and know what you're doing.
No disrespect to the DJs that
No,
use the, you know what I'm saying, the
listen,
controllers and stuff
if
like
somebody,
that. But
If somebody who's been in the game,
When we-
if you got 1200s, you know what you're doing.
Yeah,
Hey,
for sure.
I need that. When we gonna get you hosting a mixtape? I want you a Cleveland joint, or up and coming artist. When we gonna get that, man?
I've done a lot of them. We could do some more. We could do some more. I was just talking to my guy Rich about that. Like, so we got something maybe coming in the works. I'm gonna be very honest. We do need. This is going to be controversial, so maybe, you know what? I'm not going to say it.
No, go ahead.
No, you can't.
Nah,
You
I
can't
can't
say
come on a teaser.
I can't.
we need
family and friends here.
Cleveland Rocks. We're not gonna ever get a new Cleveland Rocks.
I'm with you there.
I mean,
I
get tired of hearing
I've been trying to get that up out of here for years. Like, you know how people be burning stuff. Like, that reminds me, like, if you go to a wedding and it's the same wedding set. Like, I'm not playing. I don't want to hear next
chicken
Step-
dance.
I don't want to hear next Too Close. I don't want to hear Return of the Mac. None of that. I want to hear, like, they were like, listen, there people say, oh, I was at your wedding. There were a lot of people dying. Yeah, that was all drill records.
but what's the formula? Because I mean, there have been people who have made anthems and are constantly making anthems, and nothing has picked up like Cleveland Rocks. Not that I'm saying I don't like Cleveland Rocks, but I just think maybe.
It's 25 years old.
It's seen as day, right? It is seen as day. We wait.
By the way, I will say that. I should have got a Mo Williams. Shout out to Mo Gotti. He has the coldest basketball, like when he scored and they got that random trumpet. That's the coldest thing I've ever heard, just because it's weird. And by the way, keep dropping that fat out. I like fat out.
yeah.
Listen,
Legend. It's a
when
legend.
that comes on, it still gets a jump.
Floss, you're gonna be in full effect tonight. I just feel that, right?
Yeah.
Here, I'm gonna just tell you.
We're winning. We're winning
But
like by a dub.
But you're gonna have to help them get over the hump here, right?
Yeah.
And so a selection is gonna be critical tonight.
Yeah.
Because you gotta keep some of them engaged here.
Yeah.
Because they get hit with some force down here.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
And they ain't know that you gotta return that force up in here.
We
right?
got it tonight. We're winning by at least 20 tonight. I can feel it.
At least
y'all,
one.
I need
the new Duke with these
No,
jerks.
I need Cleveland to understand we've been used to losing game ones. Like, even when Brown was here, we lost several game ones, and we were all right. Cleveland, relax. We're all right. We're all right.
If you going to
I can't. Dude, it didn't work out the last time I was in the game. I'm here for you, bro. I'm gonna just tell you. I'm like, that's why today you better get this one.
It's all on me. You see it?
put it on you.
Not the 3-point shooter, not the rebounder.
It's
I
all
just give you
just
some
me.
history
I'll
here.
take it.
If you going to,
What?
say for instance, you going somewhere, maybe it's a party, maybe it's a club, arena, whatever the case may be. What's your top 5 songs that you know, if it's kind of dead, I put that record on, it does something.
I mean, that's hard to say, because if I'm in a building, it's going to be a movie, so it's not going to be dead anyway. So Like, I bring the movie with me, so I don't know.
So
Actually,
what do you got a go-to joint? Like, do you got a
if I all right, so if I have a song that's new and I play it and I'm not sure of the reaction, do I have a song? It just depends on the crowd too. You know, like Cleveland crowds are different. Like if you go out in Cleveland, there are like 2 different crowds, like, and each crowd is like 90% of one race. You know what I'm saying? So that's all I'm saying. You know what I mean? Like, so it's like you go to I DJ at this club is 90% this race. I go to this club, it's 90% this race, and they want to hear this. So it's
the music you're playing for me is
hold on. See,
Unless you with us. Unless you with us.
Y'all might love the same music. I'm just saying.
Jason with us today. Go do it.
Jason, you know you be at the Barley House. Break Jason's Barley House. Now, I was there. I'm doing the Mirage on the water before it gets shut down.
Here's a question. I got a question for Flo. I just thought about this off the top of my head.
Yes.
What song get Evan Mobley going?
What song? You know what? He doesn't. He goes with. He hasn't really specifically requested a song.
It comes across like that.
Yeah, no, it doesn't.
It does.
He hasn't really. He hasn't. There are teams. There's songs that the entire team listens to.
Right.
It's I can't even say the name of the song.
See him
I can't say the name of the song they all love right now.
There's some guys. Correct me if I'm wrong. There's some guys that you put a track on, they gonna respond to that track.
But I love that he's just like when he's out there pregame. He's focused on that. He's never come over. I mean, he'll give me nods and stuff. Yeah. He'll like the music, but he's not like. I think I've asked him. You know what? I've asked him one time, and it was something new. Whatever it was a new song. I've asked him one time, and whatever it was a new song at that time.
Okay.
So,
you know, because L.A., you know, that's a little different flavor, right?
Yeah.
It's a different setup, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah, we got one more question.
You
We're
have
going
any
to use
country
it.
music for it? I'm kidding.
No, this is one country artist I really love.
Which is some Bonnie Raitt over here.
I don't even listen to country, but I'm curious.
I forgot the name. I can show you pictures. I'll show you pictures.
We'll get you some pictures.
I'll show you pictures. I forgot the name, but I can show you the pictures.
Hey, when we go, listen, McNuggets. When we go, listen. If we mess around and go to the arena, if we get big enough, we gonna go to the arena. We gonna ask Steph Floss to give us a UCSS song. I mean,
yeah.
Give us a UCSS song.
What song is it?
We don't know it yet.
You don't know yet.
We don't know
We
yet.
got to come up with it.
We gotta come up with it.
Cleveland Rocks?
No.
Again, my music has multiple people perishing all over the place. I got to find edited versions. Steph Floss, we appreciate you coming.
Come
on, you want to come back again?
15
Yeah, of
years.
course. Yeah, 15 years.
15 years. I think I came after I started the Cavs radio the year after you. I'm 14 now this year.
Wow.
that's
I'm gonna have to put my jersey up.
You got a pension. They get tell Dan you need that pension.
I need my name on the court. All kind of stuff. By the way, this is a really nice setup, guys. This is a real thing.
Yes.
I didn't know where he had me coming. I thought I was coming to his house. His basement.
What is going on?
He's been stalking me at the gym. I'm like, come on, man.
Trust me.
What's happening here?
No.
Hey,
I love what you guys are doing.
What's the sticker on your laptop say? I love that sticker.
Oh, Pretty Girls Love. Well, it used to say Pretty Girls Love DJ.
That's the one. That's the one. Pretty Girls Love DJ.
It just says DJ Steph Floss now. It used to say Pretty Girls Love DJ. They do.
Yeah, they story behind that.
Especially good DJ. We'll talk about that. Yeah, we'll talk about that.
I see why you trying to get the Mavs.
We took the court class yesterday, me and Steph. So hey, Steph, the next topic we get to, and we're going to play a soundbite in a sec. Right now, today, as of April 18th, who is the face of Cleveland sports? Which athlete is the face of Cleveland sports?
The face of Cleveland sports?
Yeah.
Today, the face of Cleveland sports. By far, hands down, DJ Steph Floss.
Well, that's his answer. We're going to get to the rest of the panels in a sec. And let's hear what Jay said. Jay's not on the set, but I asked him yesterday. Let's take Jay's answer. Steph, thank you for coming in, my man.
Thank you, guys.
You
got to sign the wall, though.
I got to sign the
wall.
Oh, nice.
For me, the face of Cleveland sports is actually pretty easy. It's Jose Ramirez. It has to be Jose Ramirez. He's the only superstar in Cleveland that's had any playoff success to speak of. So when you look at the other guys, Myles Garrett is great at jumping on boxes and dunking in pickup basketball games. And for sure, Deshaun Watson has all the potential in the world, but he hasn't done it. He hasn't done it here, and he needs to do it in the playoffs. And Donovan Mitchell, I think, is the closest guy to Jose, but for me, he hasn't had any playoff success here yet. He's got to win a series or two and get this town super excited like Jose did last year when they were in the playoffs and like Jose did in 2016 when they damn near won a World Series. So also, it's the personality type of the player. Who are people from Cleveland? We're hard workers. We don't take days off. We're lunch bucket people. Jose took a discount by some measures of $50 million over the length of his contract to stay in Cleveland. He took a hometown discount. Who does that when they're among the best players in the game? And he is an MVP caliber player. So for me, he runs hard, he hits for average, he hits for power, he plays a great third base. He runs the bases as well as anyone. He may not be the fastest guy, but he's so smart, intuitively knows when to go. He's just always doing big things that spark the team and spark the crowd. And for those reasons, Jose Ramirez is unquestionably the face of Cleveland sports.
Jay says Jose, and we had this debate in the production booth yesterday. A lot of different options. Here's how we're going to do this. Everyone's going to make their case. We're going to put it on YouTube. The YouTube chat is going to name the face of Cleveland sports. DJ Steph Floss said it's him. Jay said Jose Ramirez. Jason, who is, in your opinion, the face of Cleveland sports?
So when Mikey brought this to me yesterday, we had a conversation about it. He gave me a list of names, and the guy I chose wasn't even on the list of candidates.
Who was that?
Nick Chubb. How is it anyone but Nick Chubb? Nick epitomizes the whole city of Cleveland with the blue-collar work ethic and just keep your mouth shut and do your job, and always makes headlines for the right reasons, never for the wrong reasons. Doesn't say a whole lot, just goes out and does what's required of him. Is Nick, he's not in the LeBron category of superstar, but he's one of the best running backs in the NFL, one of the best players in the NFL, and I don't think there's really any debate. And I love Jose Ramirez. Unfortunately, it should be. I would even say it should be Jose, just because he's in the MVP race and one of the top third basemen in the league. But baseball is what it is in Cleveland. Unfortunately, the Browns are what they are here. And you could make a case for Myles Garrett. You could make a case maybe for Deshaun. I don't think Deshaun's been here long enough. I don't think he played well enough. And I think there's too much baggage there right now. Myles, I think, is looked at kind of as a diva and sometimes disappears on the field at times. Nick never disappears. He has a workman's approach. And to me, when I hear who's the face of Cleveland sports, it sort of becomes a popularity contest. And I can't think of an athlete in Cleveland more popular than Nick Chubb.
Brett?
Okay.
What do you believe?
So we've got Jose, Nick Chubb, two great names.
Right.
I think I'm gonna deviate a little bit. I'm gonna go to. So when you first, let's clarify this. When you talk about the face of Cleveland sports, that means you have to be known outside of Cleveland, right?
Facts.
You have to be recognized, right? And so when that category, I don't think Jose meets that category, right? I don't think Nick does. Everybody know who they are, but when you come to think about outside this market, I don't think that those names come to the forefront, right? So my case is for Cavaliers newcomer Donovan Mitchell.
Okay.
There's not a person around here who doesn't know who Donovan Mitchell is. There's not a person outside this market who doesn't know who Donovan Mitchell is. He has, by pseudo of positioning, become the face of Cleveland sports. Now, what he has not done is deliver anything here to Cleveland, but he meets all the requirements from the beginning. He is a person that people will pay to see the ticket to. Mm-hmm. They will also follow him Twitter, follow him on his stat line. You can go to any talk show that talks about the NBA, and there's not a talk show that doesn't talk about Donovan Mitchell at some point in time here. Besides the point, here's a person that laid 70-plus points on somebody in an NBA game. It was a historic night in Cleveland. And he ain't been here but less than a year. Less than a year he's been here. When it comes to representing this community and the sports town that this is, you have to be iconic. So when you talk about face of Cleveland sports, Jim Brown is the ultimate face of Cleveland sports. There's no question of that, right? LeBron James is or was the face of Cleveland sports. There's no doubt about that. But in this new cast of anybody that's sitting out here, Donovan Mitchell is the guy. Now, it only gets enhanced if he delivers on a first-round victory here and there's a serious push in the playoffs. But there is not anyone that I can think of and that has any alignment to sports in this town and sports across this country that does not recognize the talent that Donovan Mitchell is. This is why we gave up all that real estate to bring him here.
So you hear Jason went with Nick Chubb. You heard Brad going with Donovan Mitchell. Let's hear from Bull, who's taking a different route and a different answer to this exact same question.
It's very easy. If it were my own personal thing, I'd probably choose Jose Ramirez because he's the best player in the city. But I'm not speaking for just me. I'm speaking for the entire city of Cleveland. And the face of Cleveland sports is obviously Deshaun Watson. The Browns are by far the most popular team in Cleveland. There's no debating that. There's no denying that. It's even silly for me to say it because it's so obvious. The Browns are 1,000,000 times more popular than the Guardians or Cavs. We can be angry about that, or we can hem and haw and get pissed off. It doesn't matter. That's the bottom line. And you win in the NFL with a great quarterback. Now, Deshaun Watson sucked last year. I've heard some people say, no, it wasn't that bad. Yeah, he was. He was awful. But I anticipate he will get back to being a Pro Bowl caliber quarterback this season. And if that happens, he's going to be huge. He was already talked about more than almost any other athlete last year where he barely played and he sucked. If he actually plays good this year, which is my expectation, it's obvious he becomes the face of the city. So I guess you could argue on today's date, maybe he's not quite there yet. You could argue against it because you better argue against it now because in a couple of months or 6 months when they start playing, it won't even be a debate anymore. For now, I could see the other arguments, but I would still take Deshaun Watson right now. He's the quarterback. He's a great talent on the most popular team in Cleveland. It's easy that Deshaun Watson is the face of Cleveland sports, and hopefully he will actually earn that this football season.
Y'all notice Bull had 255 on the bench behind him? That was his warm-up set.
Nah, man. You better stop. Bull would be done dislocated his upper body doing that. Just all of it hang off the side. Just Bull be hurt. Don't do that,
Picking
bro.
both shoulders up off the
Yeah,
ground.
like, he not doing that. He's talking about, I need a picture. I didn't stand there. He said, hey, I need one of y'all. And didn't nobody answer in the chat yet. That means ain't nobody trying to do it.
Right.
So with that being said, we've had 4 different answers now. And, G, you actually think it might be someone else. Before we vote on it, before we get to the chat's vote, you want to make the 5th and final case for the potential face of Cleveland sports today.
Y'all cats is out of here. This is actually the easiest one. Like, go ahead, mark this up for your boy, the People's Champ. Get ready, chat, because this is easy as pie. First of all, out of all the people we named, none of those guys were the number 1 overall pick. Myles Garrett was first overall, not for the Browns.
Anthony Bennett was the number 1 overall pick, too.
But guess what? We're going to rattle this off. First overall in the NFL. First of all, Myles Garrett is the only person in any of those lists that have a record. He's already the all-time leading sack record holder for the Browns at a position that's a premium position, defensive end. Second of all, I could go see Deshaun Watson if Deshaun Watson didn't have a lot of baggage and Deshaun Watson was drafted here, and if Deshaun Watson played well last year, and if Deshaun Watson didn't have a really big contract. All those things are looked at as people being like, can you imagine going to the stadium and say, hey, this lady said Deshaun Watson? No. There's half the population here that's still, jury's still out on it. You take a look at Jose Ramirez. Love Jose, love it. By default, Jay, you wasted a pick. Why would you waste a pick on Jose Ramirez? That was a personal pick. You know good and well. They still trying to get raffle tickets, doing 50-50 to get people in the stands. There ain't even enough people. You've seen Jose Ramirez play. Nah, that's not going to work. Nick Chubb, love Nick Chubb. But to be the face of something, you actually have to talk. You actually have to tweet, do interviews, like go around, maybe say something. Hey, Myles Garrett be at the Pro Bowl, dunking basketballs backwards. Everyone knows who he is. Myles Garrett be at the beach, taking his shirt off with all his abs everywhere, pause. Myles Garrett, for better or worse, driving fast, liking dinosaurs, quarterbacks in his front yard and flipping cars. And he flipped the car and didn't die. This man is indestructible. Myles Garrett is one of the best players in the league. PFF has him graded the top overall player for the Browns. PFF also has him rated the top overall defensive end at a premium position. It's not even close. Myles Garrett is the only guy on this list, by the way, that probably could play another professional sport. 2 of them. He can at least be a professional bodybuilder. At the end of the day, Myles Garrett brings back the most in the trade. Myles Garrett is what it is. It's easy. He's the face of Cleveland sports.
That is 5 different answers, 5 different compelling arguments, and I think 5 different options that could be voted as number 1. Before we get to the
Chubb
poll
win.
vote,
The haters.
you guys have now heard all 5.
Yeah.
Is there anyone, Brad, anyone you would like to eliminate from this conversation? You don't think it's in the same category as the
You gonna
rest?
get up out of here.
I think that everybody put forth a good candidate, right? Because there's the diversity in the group, right? And then I think that everybody made good points. I want to see what the public has to say.
Jason, before we get to public, do you have anything you want to add?
Who you gonna eliminate, Jason?
Not necessarily
off the boat?
eliminate, but we talked beforehand. You told me you thought it should be Jose, but it's Chubb.
Yeah, I thought it should be Jose. He's the best player on his team in town, as far as I'm concerned. He's the only one catching MVP votes year in and year out. So it should be Jose. It's not Jose, I don't think. It probably will never be a Guardian, unfortunately. I don't think Donovan's been here long enough to really establish that. And I really think it's Nick. That was the first name that came to my mind when this came up was Nick.
Well, we have the poll results. And these poll results are brought to us by our good friends. I'm going to make this the most dramatic PCC read y'all have ever heard. Bum, bum, bum. Are you looking for a job with career advancement and great benefits? Well, PCC Airfoils is the leading manufacturer in Northeast Ohio. All locations of PCC Airfoils in Eastlake, Mentor, Wickliffe, and Minerva are hiring for positions starting at $18 and up, plus full benefit packages, paid time off, and a signing bonus. You can apply online at precast.com/careers to learn more. The results are in. The YouTube chat came out strong. Over 300 answers for this poll question, with 14% of the vote.
This
Not the winner. I'm going reverse order. Dramatic.
Oh, okay. This is crazy. Okay, 14.
Deshaun Watson.
No.
Okay.
That's where it should be.
20% of the vote.
Yeah, right.
What's the
Jose
next one, Mike?
Ramirez.
What's that?
20%.
20.
Jose.
All right.
Thank you, Steve.
I feel like I need to hold the lottery balls.
That's
like
a good
when they put the envelope down. Who's next?
29%. One Nicholas Chubb. And the winner with 35%. Donovan Mitchell.
Wow, that is amazing.
Stole the vote.
Okay,
Stop the
Trump.
What about Myles?
They either didn't register or
Jason's
I only get 4 options when making a poll on YouTube. So honorable mention goes out to Myles.
I did not know that. Do Mitchell versus Myles.
Hey,
Mitchell versus Myles.
Hey,
Hold on.
that is
a minute.
they stole them. They really did steal the vote.
Hold on.
You can't all the Browns. You can't go from 4
Okay,
to
hold
a
on. Let's
2.
take out Watson. Put the 4 up. Take out Watson.
Redo it. Yeah, that's the way to do
Bring
it.
that back.
Yeah, yeah,
Hold on, we're doing a round 2
that
vote
back.
with Mitchell and Garrett.
Yeah.
Give me
All
a
right.
second.
Yeah.
Bring that back. I said, hold on.
Put the other 3 in Myles and get rid
Man,
of Deshaun.
they've got a trial in Delaware now. The Dominion voting machines.
Hey, Dominion. Hey, listen. Don't let me make Sean Hannity come up on here to represent
Anthony
me.
pulled an okey doke on me.
I said,
Well, I thought he only sent me the 4 answers because the 5th one wasn't.
Jason was like,
wasn't
hold on.
mine.
There's 5 candidates. Vote for your favorite
Look,
4.
They already did jury selection today.
Michael Lucas
Jury
McNuggets,
selection
we have been
was
doing
this
this show
morning.
for a year. You should know how this works at this point.
That's valid. And I
Hey, I
forgot.
said, what kind of sorcery going on right there?
Like, wait a minute. Myles didn't register at all?
No, he wasn't
Nobody
even on the
voted
list.
for Myles?
I said, hold on. I see what Trump was talking about. That Nevada, I was just winning. I was winning when I went to sleep. Woke up, the whole doggone thing has changed.
We was robbed. We was hoodwinked. Things run amok.
We're going to let this
Bam,
go to
All right,
boom.
no, it's
Run
been
amok.
60 seconds. Garrett wins with 57% of the vote.
Hey,
Who
what was
won?
that?
Myles Garrett is our winner.
There we go.
Cleveland Sports with 58% of the vote in 1 minute. About 150 votes already.
Thank you, people.
Oh, it's too late now. It's already
Thank you.
it's after the fact.
It's already tainted. That's a
already
tainted
Yeah, I
win.
was gonna say this really ruined a great back and forth.
Ruined it. Anthony ruined it.
I want to thank the Academy, and I want to also
No. I got to file a protest. There's a protest coming here.
I would like to thank Dominion and
Brad,
the
a
recount in
Cavalier.
Arizona.
A Cavalier cannot be the face of Cleveland sports and not be LeBron. I'm sorry. So Myles wins.
What about Nick? Nick was winning the other poll. He was second place.
Hey, listen, that's how they suppressed your vote, Jason. They suppressed. People was going up there. Y'all said they couldn't have water in the line. They said no water, no snacks. People didn't show up to the poll. That's what runoffs. We had a runoff.
We're going to do this again, by the way. So we did this today, and the question was, and we can change it back to colleague. The question was for today, for April 18th, 2023.
Yeah.
We're going to do this again in 6 months to the day, half a year. It'll be the middle of football season. We're going to see if it changes. If
Okay.
Deshaun
We're going to have
Watson,
5 candidates. We're going to put 2 up for a vote.
Yes. We're just going to create new ways to vote.
First, Mike forgot to have a primary. There
was a caucus.
There's a primary. There's a primary first, and we get down to 2 candidates.
And then we get you both off.
That's what we. Right. Okay.
We're going to do a bracket.
Now we're doing bracket.
We're going to do that. But speaking of Nicholas
Is there a
Chubb,
first round bye?
yes, because Myles Garrett technically won the de facto asterisk vote today, he gets a first round bye.
No,
if I remember,
a protest.
But
That has to be adjudicated.
we are going to speak a little bit on Nick Chubb real quick because, and actually, we're talking Browns now, which means it is brought to us by our good friends at
Let's
Lincoln
get to
Electric.
this.
They are the experts in welding and manufacturing in the electric
We're
field.
gonna need
Lincoln
some
Electric,
welders.
Now hiring. Check them out at Lincoln Electric. So we know Nick Chubb's not big on social media. Very rarely does anything that gets put out onto the internet make it in front of one Nick Chubb, except last week we did this as an overtime segment. Stevie, take tab board full. ESPN put out their top 10 fantasy running backs for the upcoming season, and despite the fact that the tell line here covers the bottom, there you go, Ramondre Stevenson comes in at number 10. Nick Chubb was not on this. This is fantasy running back rankings.
This is disrespectful.
Nick Chubb, not a huge fantasy guy. He's not usually a first-round pick, but still, any list of top 10 running backs in any category does not have Nick Chubb on it.
Bijan Robinson ain't in the league yet.
Exactly.
That's disrespectful.
Well,
That's
this caught the attention of one Nick Chubb. Anthony, give me the next
They
tag
ain't
board,
seen
please.
Jonathan Taylor since last year.
And Nick Chubb put on his Instagram, I wonder what excuses they'll come up with this year. The next slide said, it is officially a prove-it season for me. We've seen what Nick Chubb can do in a non-quote-unquote prove-it season. What do you think a revenge tour prove-it season looks like for the best running back in football?
Somebody better alert Kevin Stefanski.
Hey,
because that's holding the keys to the kingdom here.
I don't know if he was talking to Kev about that, but I think somebody told Nick Chubb, hey, look, man, you the master of your own domain, bro. Like, sometimes being humble don't help. Sometimes closed mouth don't get fed. Like, all that rotating in, somebody told him, hey, bro, you ain't got to just be a first 1-2 yard back. You can be in on third down, too, if you go ahead and just, because you know that.
Act up.
Yeah, listen, if Nick Chubb is talking, like, we going to listen. Like, don't get it twisted. Myles Garrett is the face, but if you say the heart and soul, listen, Nick Chubb, ain't nobody about to play with Nick Chubb. Like, he feel like y'all playing with his name. First of all, you got Derrick Henry on that list. Derrick Henry got as much tread on his tires as I got on this Ford Trailblazer outside. And it's a 2002. 370,000 miles. This dude, Derrick Henry, you got a rook. You got to do that. So it's so disrespectful that you got team logos and then you see a Texas Longhorn. You're like, is that a typo? No, they put a kid that ain't even played it down in here. You know how disrespectful that is? And then they got Ramondre Stevenson in here. Like, I used to like a girl named Ramondre. Like, she was dope back in, like, 8th grade. But this is a running back you got over Chubb? Ramondre? Nah, bro, I'm cool on that, bro. I'm straight. This disrespect at the highest order. They've been doing Chubb. Chubb done heard it. Hey, Nick, I know you watch the show. I know you do. Your whole team be watching it. They be subtweeting people. Let me tell you this. They got you
subtweeting?
Subtweeting. Hey, they got you at 12 carries next year, dog. You know I'll be advocating for you. I'll be trying to get you to 20. They don't want to give you the 20. They try to give you the 18. They telling you it's 12. 12 next year, big dog. You see how they try to play you? They said it's a run and shoot offense to next year with Deshaun. Nah, you see how you handle it.
This ain't no prove it year for Nick. Nick has nothing left to prove. we know how good Nick Chubb is, and he'll be just fine. He's going to get his numbers. Don't give me the 20 carry crap. I'm not doing that.
I knew he was going to do that.
He didn't like that.
I knew it.
You guys about gave me an aneurysm last year.
He don't like that.
Pour a little hot sauce on it.
You can
Jason be
spicy.
Jason looked like he be getting last
He's
year
ready to blow.
Last year was like, listen, I can't keep coming in here on these dogs on Monday.
20 carries.
Come on.
20 carries. That's what we gonna give you.
All right, we're going to run the ball 20 times. The first play of the game, the first 20 plays, who's going to run into Nick. Guaranteed win.
Tag team bros gonna tell you 20 carries.
Hey, and you know we converted Jay. Jay was going harder than everybody. He was like, listen, he got to get it more. Now listen, hey, I like a motivated Nick Chubb. I like that. See, when you get rabbit ears, right? When you get rabbit ears a little bit, you get sensitive. You feel like he feels like literally.
I'm being disrespected.
He got 1,500 last year. No one cared.
No.
It just
They didn't.
no one cared.
No.
This poll is outrageous and stupid.
Now it's outrageous.
It is. It's outrageous and stupid that he's not in the top 10. But I really don't think Nick's going to be in the weight room going, that ESPN fantasy poll that came out in April.
No, here. You have to, as a player, you have to find your motivation.
You got to find it somewhere.
Right. You have to find your motivation, right? And so if that's what gets him going, right? Because here, 12, if G's right, if they're going to do 12 carries.
He's getting more than 12 carries.
12 carries is doing that for you.
He's getting more than 12 carries.
You know, I do like assertive people. I like people that assert their positions here, right? And so just so that, because some people get amnesia on you, right?
Oh, you forgot.
You forgot how nice I was, huh? You see it all the time, right? So if you don't advocate for yourself, then nobody's going to advocate for you. Yeah. They're going to move on to the next person.
My dad
jumped on this thing like Bijan Robinson. Bijan Robinson.
What?
I saw the Texas game.
That's
I was like,
disrespect.
you was just okay. I don't know why you so live today. You was just okay.
Listen, man, I tell people, listen, my dad used to tell me stuff. We would be going to play and stuff. He'd be like, man, he's like, look, if you play, I was in high school. He's like, yo, if you play defensive tackle, you're nothing special. He said, you're regular. He's like, you don't even know how to weigh that much. You kind of link, you regular. He's like, when they ask you, they's like, yo, freshman year, he's like, sophomore year, the varsity coaches don't know who you are. So I said, Dad, well, thanks a lot, Dad. He's like, when they ask for the defensive ends,
you regular.
You go, when they say D ends, you go get in that line.
That's what Megan Thee Stallion told somebody. She said she regular.
I was basic. He told me I was basic. And that motivated me, bro. I'm regular. What does that mean? He said, no, you don't get in that line. He said, if you get in that line, you ain't going to college.
Don't get in that line.
Don't get in that line. Don't get in that
line.
Listen, that's like you got daughters. They like, are you a post player? No. Don't be no. I'm not. My daughter is not a 4. My daughter is gonna be in high school. She was probably.
I will yell from behind Maryland bench at sometime. I'll be like, "You a game changer."
Don't be.
I said, "You a playmaker, right? Don't be falling for this regular.
Like no regular.
Don't drink the Kool-Aid here. You're a game changer. You're a playmaker.
You got to tell yourself that sometime. And I think Nick Chubb literally says, "Hold on. If I was anywhere else, they would be tooting my horns from the top of the. If I was in New York,
that's what Tyreek said.
If I was over here, they would be blowing my name all the way up." And so I like the fact that he's starting to say stuff now. I think when you start saying stuff, I feel like you start to see your mortality. You start to see like I'm
closer to the end than the beginning.
Than the beginning a little bit, right? Like, look, Jason Lloyd, he write articles right now. You give him 10 more years, he don't care what he say. He gonna be.
I'm there now, G. do you mean 10 more
Hey,
years?
look, I got a nest egg you don't even know about. I don't care what you say. Like, look, hey, Jay Crawford, I see Jay Crawford, man. Jay Crawford, I mean, he be lifting in the middle of the day, just being out here free. I'm like, Jay, you just driving around? Yeah, man, my finish line. I'm like, well, I got to work. I'm going to show up. So, yeah, Dick Chubb feeling that. He feeling that, though.
Well, I'll tell you what. Here, the one thing it is, what you do like is that he is aware of his surroundings here.
Yeah.
Right? All right. And sometimes when people discredit you, you have to go out and show them why it's not good to discredit me, right? It works both ways, right? Because if you don't produce, they come back and say, "See, I told you."
I be telling Kevin
I told
Stefanski,
you.
hey, put me in the slot. Do the little 5 wide packages. We don't want to see Harrison.
Well, I would say this though. You know, it's like the basketball player that's not feeling like getting utilized. They will go to the coach and be like, "Look, man,
Let me get a little
you're
touches
not utilizing me to my fullest here." Now that don't mean the coach is going to agree with you,
Right.
But I put it on record for everybody to know. So Nick Chubb, you know, he never says anything when he gets the minimum care usage. You don't see him complaining. You don't hear him with a comment, right? So if I'm the coach, that's tantamount to me that you're okay with it, right?
And by the way, this knee-jerk reaction stat by me is powered by Lincoln Electric. I got Nick Chubb, if he only getting 12 carries in the backfield, I got him catching 50 footballs and about 400 yards. What you think about that?
I think he's going to be higher than 12 carries. I don't know. Where are you coming up with this 12?
Sound good.
That's what Jonathan Peterlin said Matthew Berry told him on our panel.
Hey,
Saturday.
I'm running with 12.
My sister's best friend's cousin's brother's uncle saw him pass out at Baskin Robbins last night.
You want to hear a
What are we doing
funny
here?
fact about Matthew Berry, by the way?
But, yeah.
His mom is the mayor of College Station, Texas.
Really?
Yeah.
How
Like
big?
A&M. She is very involved with Texas A&M. She's from the A&M area.
That's crazy.
wow.
His mom's the mayor. His mom and Brad, the two most prominent
Wow.
mayors in the history of mayors.
Hey, listen, I'm just trying to, when I go through Solon, if I'm speeding, I need to talk to you, Brad. I can't.
Solon, I can't help you.
I got pulled over coming home from Columbus. I ain't tell you
Can't
that
help you in Solon.
I can't advocate for you.
Columbus. We went to Columbus. I got pulled over in a minivan.
Man, so here, I'll just finish this up like this, Mikey. Nick Chubb, good. I'm glad you feel disrespected,
Yep.
right?
I'm ready.
Pass that on to your boy Watson, too. Make sure he feels disrespected, too, right?
He's supposed to feel completely disrespected.
Right. Because the people talk about quarterback, they don't even mention his name no more. They're like, they have moved on.
He is moved.
They have moved on, right?
Yep.
So I like.
Justin
So
Timberlake.
you got they talk about C.J. Stroud now. They talk about
Bryce Young.
they talk about all Bryce Young. I said, dude. So here,
Take that.
and then I said, I tell you what, you got all the motivation you need to turn this ship around.
It is 12:36, and the lunch hour of the Ultimate Cleveland Sports Show, as always, is sponsored by Kaulig Racing, the official NASCAR team of Northeast Ohio. Our next topic is brought to us by the USFL. We had an awesome interview with Boogie Roberts yesterday of the Maulers. He's already texted me. He wants to come in studio next week. We're going to get him in here. He was awesome. Sunday, April 23rd, the USFL is back in Canton. Come celebrate professional football with free T-shirts and rally towels for the entire family. Great seats start at just $10, so buy your tickets today at USFL.com. It's funny we're talking about the USFL with this ad because there was a chance, if you believe some certain rumors, which we'll get to in one sec, that the Browns might not be playing at First Energy Stadium, a.k.a. Brown Stadium, in the near future while they do work. According to a neotrans.blog report, and I will get to whether or not this is true in a second. According to the report they put out yesterday, the Haslams, Mayor Bibb, city officials were working on a plan to rebuild the stadium at its current site. Work would begin in 2026. It would not be a dome. It would be an open roof stadium. They would rebuild the entire waterfront area, and that means the Brown would play elsewhere, potentially Canton, maybe Columbus, until the work is done. However, Channel 3 did its work, and we are affiliated with Channel 3, and they determined, and I'll read the quote, 3 News has determined that there is no merit to the report of the Browns playing any home games outside of Cleveland. We have checked out all of our sources, including in Columbus, with Ohio State, and with the Browns, essentially debunking this theoretical plan to revamp the lakefront area in the Browns Stadium. So, with the assumption that this is a total bogus report. And Daryl Ryder and some other guys confirmed it as well. What do you think of the idea, at least, to rebuild the waterfront, rebuild downtown, and potentially have to play somewhere else for a year or two? Like, what's your take on the initial thought of the report?
Well, I mean, Jimmy Haslam came out and said, like, a lot of that is happening. They do want to refurbish the stadium. They have massive plans to move the freeway, to move Route 2 and to connect the waterfront to downtown. So that's straight from the owner. The part that I guess that's in question is, the part that didn't make sense to me was leaving to go play in Columbus for multiple years. I mean, the Bears moved out of Soldier Field during their renovation and played in Champaign, but that was for 1 year. I could see, and this is such a massive undertaking, maybe it does get to the point where they have to exit the stadium for 1 year. I can't see them leaving for multiple years. I've been wrapped up in the Cavs. I haven't really checked around much on this whole stadium thing. I trust the reporting of Channel 3. They say it's not true, then I'll fall in line on that. But I do think they are going to renovate the stadium. I've already been on record multiple times on this show. I would leave Cleveland. I would leave the waterfront. I would go to Independence, get all kinds of tax breaks. I'd build an empire at 480 and 77 at that interchange. And it sounds like that's not where they're at right now, though. They're intent on connecting the waterfront to downtown. And if Jimmy can pull it off, and we're a long way from that point. There's a lot of finances involved. Brad, you know that better than anybody, the money that's involved with a project like this. But if he can pull it off, I think it could go a long way in absolving a lot of the hard feelings that Browns fans have towards the Haslam family. This could be a nice feather in his cap of doing a lot of good for the city of Cleveland.
So let me come at you from the aspect of
Let's get to
urban
these politics.
planning. Right.
Get to these
So
politics.
first of all, the Browns are not moving to Independence. That's not happening, right? I think the money they've invested into redeveloping the waterfront from the city to county is progressing in a way that I think is more beneficial to the entire Cleveland County.
Now, they did say it looks like they're trying to approve $62 million in funds from the state of Ohio. Is that correct?
So let's not even get to the funds, right? Let's talk about before we get to the money. What has to happen? There's a lot of things. I don't see the Browns leaving for 3 years, right? I don't see that happening at all, right? And then I still think the Browns are doing a disservice to themselves because I think there's a conversation at least we had in the city about dome roofs, a roof or no roof, right? Mm-hmm. We have never really had that debate. We just have just kind of ice over it, gloss over it, and go away another way. We just do this open thing over here, right? In order to bring this waterfront play into play, you know the Port Authority is behind the stadium, right? Mm-hmm. They need that to redevelop the area they want to go. Mm-hmm. Then I'm also the chair of the convention center, right? This land bridge that has to come across to open the waterfront, the thoroughfare to the lake, has to be done. Route 2 has to be reconstructed and removed, and there's a lot of moving pieces here. This is not cheap, right? There's some other questions that have to be decided here, because I say this too. What you gonna do with Burke Lakefront, right? You have to understand the investments made by private entrepreneurs, companies, hotels have situated themselves in Cleveland for this very reason. You take that out of Cleveland, you're gonna sink every one of them, right? I know Cleveland's not in the business, it should not be in the business of sinking itself. Right? This is where it is. This is where this is where you're gonna get bang for the buck. Independence, it's only a 10-minute drive from my house. I'm okay with that, right? But that's not where you get bang for the buck at. Bang for the buck is down on that water. That water is the key to Cleveland revitalization. It always has been. We've just been slow to the draw. You sit down there with Burke Lakefront, the aviation school, and every other piece of property that don't do nothing for you, right?
And I would argue it's more valuable if there's not a stadium sitting on it.
Well, okay, but if you took the stadium somewhere else, where are you going to go with it?
I just told you.
I ain't going way out there. Ain't nothing out there. Ain't no infrastructure out there for all that, right? It's already enough traffic out there as it is.
Let me ask you this: who's paying? My thing is,
okay.
Who's paying for
Answer
it?
my question. So here's the question, and I said this here, as you can pull up the old tapes. To sit here and say that, you hear people say that I'm not paying for a thing. There's no sports entity in this country where you can say that anymore. It's a matter now of what the split's going to be.
How much you gonna pay?
How much you gonna pay? Because the people that have gotten cute with it and said, I'm not paying a thing, I'm sticking my foot in the ground, right? Go ask the San Diegos. Go ask the Seattles. This is where you are, right? Oakland, right? This is what happens here. You can win and lose at the same time. Yeah, you won your argument but lost the bet, right? There's a discussion here, and I'm not saying who doing what, but what I am an advocate for around here is this. We too scared to even have a conversation, right? And I think this conversation is not only done by city officials and county officials and state officials. I think the general public has a right to weigh in on what it is, because some of their money that they contribute to this indirectly and directly have an effect on everybody, right? But what we never do, Jason, we never call the question.
Yep.
I ain't seen one real discussion about a roof around here yet.
And
I am 60 years old and do not want to sit outside in the cold. I do not.
I'll tell you this. I think it's insane to even talk about renovating that place without the specifics. Guaranteed it's gonna have a retractable roof on it. It's almost like I don't believe that you should build. If you said you did it hasty the first time and it wasn't up to standard.
Port Authority all gone away. You see that in that picture. That's all gone.
If you telling me I could get the roof, put it on here, and do what I need to do, and not only I would do that, I could revitalize downtown. I could bring more people. I could bring more hotels. I could do this. I could do that. Why would you say, well, let's just just do it all over again, put it back up, and still not to be up to code, not up to standard with other things? If you can close it off and do more with it, why not? And we talk about, and here's the thing about the price tag, Jason.
At least tell me what the price tag of it is.
Give me some renderings.
The renovation price is this. The other price is this. That's the debate you have. Because if you don't do it now, G,
you're on
25 years when you come to do it, guess how much it's going to cost you?
If you put a roof on it, you're adding at least $500 million to another $1 billion.
And so
for a roof.
So first of all, I don't know where you're getting these numbers from, right? Because your renovation is, you've already got the structure in place. You're not going to make that much significant of a change to be up to $1 billion in renovations here,
I mean,
right? You're not.
Go look at the projects that have roofs on them.
I do projects all the time. You're talking to the wrong guy.
No, I'm talking to the right guy.
You're talking to the wrong guy, right? I'm saying here's the deal. The roof has a cost to it, right? Mm-hmm. The benefit is, what do you extract from the cost, the additional cost? Now, I'm going to just tell you this. It makes no good sense to me to be pumping that kind of money in here for 8 target dates in a year.
I agree.
That's dumb. That is dumb. That's just outright dumb is what it is, right? That's why Minnesota has rebuilt this thing, tore down the Metrodome, rebuilt this thing, has the end of the thing. I was just in there for the Big Ten tournament. The end of it opens up like a big window, right? And they get everything. They get the NCAA tournaments. They get everything. We stuck with 8 games and maybe 2 concerts.
And ownership put up about half of that.
Yeah, but
for that.
Here, I said we're going to get down to the structure of who's paying for what.
Now,
right?
now listen, to be fair, some people is right to ask the Haslams. Now, look, you just made a huge purchase in a basketball team. If you was, somebody asked this, how invested are they in Cleveland, Ohio? Right? This team, not Tennessee Volunteers, not the Columbus Crew. How invested are you in this team? And they said, we are completely invested. Well, I don't know that, because if you know your stadium is old, you need renovations. If I know that my car is messed up, I can't go buy a house and a car. You got to pick one. You can't go get the two. You gave them $300 million for the Bucks. That $300 million can go a long way for a roof.
I know this. Mayor Justin Bibb and Council President Blanker, they're smart people, right? They know what's on the table here, right? And they just want to have real talk. I'm sure they probably are having real talk behind the scenes, right? But for the lay person out here, I think it's just foolish to be moving on. They talking about, I heard on the radio yesterday, well, let's go play in Detroit. Let's go play in Pittsburgh. Let's go play in Columbus. I like, you're going to sink all these businesses down here. Every one of them downtown, you're going to sink.
That's not tenable. Like the Columbus thing, first of all, can you imagine? So the Browns, 2 to 3 years gone.
Oh, my God.
Can you imagine the Browns get good? You either going to tell, if you go to a smaller venue, half your people can't watch the game. Right, Canton is 20,000. You go to Akron, that's 20-something thousand.
Can't do that.
Can't do it.
The numbers
you
don't
could
work.
go to Ohio State, It's a lot of. I don't know what the Civil War is, but Cleveland and Columbus, they don't seem to eye to eye. Like there's like this Cold War thing where we'll be damned if we take our team and put them in the 614 area code. I mean, that doesn't. You asking people to go 2 hours to drive down there to go see their team. Now, can you imagine they was good at that time? We've been waiting all this doggone long.
Here's the problem, and I can say this I know this for a fact, right? Because I've talked to the people at the Browns, right? I know this for a fact. They've been trying to source this thing out for a couple of years now, trying to figure out what direction. But the air I get is they don't feel like this town is ready to have a real discussion about going into the future.
Is it because they don't believe that they can that the base in the inner city in the middle of Cleveland has enough tax dollars to support something like that?
So I don't think the money doesn't all come from the city of Cleveland, right? But the majority of the money coming from the burbs, right? The county, rather, and the state, right? It's all of it. The city's putting in a chunk too, but it's not just one entity paying.
Right.
And then the other question is, how much Jimmy are you putting in, right?
Right.
What were we talking about here, right? Somebody has to lay out because I've seen, I've been fortunate. I saw a rendering, Jason, of that downtown development. This was about a year ago. The way you saw it with the lakefront all developed, opened up, and guess what it had on when I saw it? It had a roof. Oh, it had a roof. The Browns had a museum attached to this thing. The Browns had their own museum attached to it, right? And then miraculously, you get enough chirping out here. When it came public, that portion of it was gone. But I actually was in a presentation and I saw that, right? And I was like, and it wasn't a done deal, but it was a jump off point to at least have the discussion about what somebody had put a good deal of resource in to get it developed to that point. Ask them where that is. Where is that at? Let me see what that looks like.
Does this so to bring it to a point? Does this thing get done? And if so, how long is it going to take?
You ain't got long because the lease runs out here shortly, right? So you better get to going. But somebody better have a conversation here pretty quickly. I know the city is. I know the county is. I said, but you have yet to involve the people. And that's what you got the feedback on the airwaves yesterday. They were like, what you talking about? 2 to 3 years? You can't renovate what they were saying. You can't renovate the place and like the Guardians and stay in the building?
Yep. What you got, McNuggets?
We got about 10 minutes left here in the show. We got 2 things I want to get to real quick. We quickly touched on Evan Mobley and not winning Defensive Player of the Year earlier. And we just received word from one Mr. Mike Polk about how Evan Mobley is handling the news. This is an exclusive report from one Mike Polk. He sent this just for us. Mike, how's Evan Mobley handling this? Take it, Steve.
Rumors and speculation, but I have it on very good authority that Evan Mobley is very upset about not being named Defensive Player of the Year. I heard Evan Mobley is so upset that it took him over 1.5 minutes to solve his Rubik's Cube tonight. I heard Evan Mobley is so upset that he lost his cool and said the C word out loud, crud. Apparently, Evan Mobley is so upset that he couldn't focus during his D&D game tonight. He fell into a river orc's trap, lost half his gold and his best elven cloak. Apparently, Evan Mobley is so upset that he hasn't stopped drinking since he got the news, and now he is completely out of 1% milk. Hang in there, Evan Mobley. Your day will come, young man. Go Cavaliers.
Hard-hitting stuff there from the comedic mind of Mike Polk.
Oh, Mike.
Hey,
Mike's a funny guy.
I wonder, did somebody debunk that? They said you couldn't drink a gallon of milk within an hour.
And cinnamon, right? It's milk and cinnamon.
I think it's just milk. Is that the thing? Or did they debunk that? Anthony, could you look that up?
You got too much free time on your hands.
I saw a documentary about that like 4 years ago.
Oh my God.
Did somebody get that
Must
off?
stay up late at night.
Drink a gallon of milk?
They said it's impossible to drink a gallon of milk.
Who wants
Did
to
you
in an
see?
hour?
Did you see the Sprite challenge a few months back?
Yes.
It was hilarious. Try and chug an entire bottle of Sprite without burping.
Oh, you'll die.
It's hilarious.
You're going to die.
Some of the videos out there. And
All right, guys, I got something here. So I just Googled, can you drink a gallon of milk in an hour? Says, is it possible? Yes, it's extremely difficult. Most people fail at it. In most cases, only professional eaters can reliably complete this challenge. This is from How Stuff Works and health.howstuffworks.com.
There you go.
Good luck
Take
with
that. Thanks, Google.
Appreciate it.
Good luck with
Appreciate
that.
it. Yeah, there's a lot of challenges out there. Don't do them. I see some kid in a Benadryl contest, and he just didn't end up well. Like,
Oh, there's stuff going on with kids today and
like-
Benadryl that's
like now, like I didn't even know it. I went to the counter and they was like, "Hey, sir, I need your ID," and I was like, "For what?" There's like, "Yeah, you
A lot
can't
going
have,
on out here.
You can't have Benadryl or Sudafed."
Dude,
Go
there's
ahead.
a lot going on out here, bro.
And last thing that we have to get to, then we can fill the last minute or two with some Cavs stuff. But I'm not sure you guys saw this or not, but unfortunately, Chris Smith, former Brown, passed away this morning at the age of 31. He played for 7 NFL teams, most notably the Jaguars and
I
the
didn't see
Browns.
that.
Myles Garrett addressed this at his media conference this morning, said he was the kind of guy that would give anything, his shirt off his back if you needed it, was one of his favorite teammates of all time. I don't remember Chris being in Cleveland. This was before my time here. Jason, did you ever have an interaction with Chris?
briefly. Yeah, briefly. Very, very briefly, but wonderful guy. This was really, really sad.
He had a tragedy with his girlfriend too.
Yeah,
his
she
girlfriend
died in a car accident. I think. I don't remember.
And I remember he was playing. He came and played at Cincinnati like before the funeral and
that's
stuff.
right.
Remember?
I remember
yeah,
that.
yeah. That's crazy.
Awful.
Yep. They had a young child too. Yeah.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, young child. So he was just like taking care of his. Like it's crazy. I said, "Oh no, nah, you can't. Like, if you're white, can you imagine you taking care of your kids and that's it's so sad. They didn't have a cause of death or anything. It just came and popped up out of nowhere. So rest in peace to him and condolences to his family. It's just that's why 31 years old. That's
sad.
Wow.
Just starting life.
Yep.
On the flip side, and there's no real good transition off something like that, so I'll just say it, but Jim Trotter was hired by The Athletic. He's now Jason's.
You just stole my thunder.
Sorry, Jason. You can take it. Go.
Rewind that. Go ahead. Boom.
No, that Jim Trotter's hired by The Athletic.
That's a great get by you guys.
It is a great get. Yeah,
That's
I just
huge.
found out during the show, actually. I
So
got
you
a
explain for
memo.
folks Jim Trotter.
Jim Trotter, of course, is the phenomenal reporter. We've had him on the show.
Yeah.
UCSS legend.
Yeah, who worked for NFL Network and really held Roger to the fire over the NFL's hiring practices, and found himself unemployed there shortly after he did it last year.
Amazing.
And again this year. Jim is one of the most respected journalists who covers the NFL, was let go by the NFL, I don't know, last month maybe?
Yeah.
And I just got a memo today during the show that he will join us in the next coming weeks as a national columnist for The Athletic on the NFL. So thrilled now that I get to call Jim Trotter a colleague of mine at The Athletic.
All right.
It's good
There
stuff.
we go. We got it.
Really good stuff.
Well, yeah. He said he'd land somewhere soft. So yeah, I'm just glad that sometimes you stand for certain things, and like you said, he was willing to take what came with it, and just glad to see him back in the game, and he's going to continue to just be Hall of Fame writer. So it is what it is.
In the last 3 minutes. Did that scare you, Anthony? Oh, Anthony popped up. I thought I scared him. In the last 3 minutes here, guys, let's go back. One player tonight, outside of, you can't say Donovan Mitchell, one player tonight that has to have a stellar game for the Cavs to win.
Darius Garland.
I'm going to put it on him. Your second best player got to be your second best player. The rest of the guys, Allen is a role guy. Mobley's a young guy. Karis LeVert is a guy that's going to give you a boost off the bench. Isaac Okoro is a hustle, defensive guy. You need Darius Garland to be an all-star that he is and come along.
Who leads the Cavs bench players in scoring tonight?
Better be Karis LeVert.
Yeah.
Better be. I mean, he's a guy. He's the quintessential bench dude.
Right.
If he's on, he can get you 30, 40, 50.
He's played very well. I mean, after the trade deadline, he's played very well.
And
so I need that type of performance again. I'm not asking for nothing you have done, right? What I cannot have is what I saw on Saturday. I cannot have that.
And he has to be more aggressive, Jason.
3 threes. That's all. 3 or 4 threes.
Yeah, a couple dudes. Not gonna, you could. Hey,
Give him
me
12, 14 points tonight off the bench.
Yeah, that'd be good.
Yeah.
And last question before we head out of here. Game on the line again. Brunson and/or Randle has the ball. Let's go with Brunson because it was Osman last time. Who's in the game for the Cavs guarding Brunson on the final possession?
Well, to me, on the final possession, on coming out of timeout,
Yes.
I mean, Stevenson would be the guy that I'd be putting on. I'm nothing against Jetty, but I mean, you got to meet this force head on.
And by the way, Jetty had a really nice contest on that last shot.
It was a good contest. It was.
Very good contest.
You got to go Penn State versus Villanova. This is what we're doing here.
If Isaac Okoro is going to be a factor, then he's going to have to check him. If they feel like that's their stopper, then that's what it's going to have to be.
Yeah, if I can get a timeout and get my personnel on the floor, I'll put Isaac on him. Yeah, of course.
There we go. Overtime coming up. We are going to draw our best Browns dog logos and vote on one to actually submit in the Browns contest. They are taking fan submissions for a new logo. That was an Earl of Pearl topic that the Browns have taken from us. You can have it. Just give us Deshaun Watson in for an interview and exchange. I think it's a fair trade. We're going to draw our own, and we will see you tomorrow. And on a Cavs postgame show, I won't be there. Earl Anthony G. Bush holding it down.